This video is sponsored by War Thunder. 3 challenges, 2 players, 1 crown. For the last year, me and another Stardew Valley YouTuber, Sharky, have been mercilessly battling it out to claim the title of the best Stardew Valley player. And in this crazy long video, you get to see every round, every winner, and the crowning of a champion. So grab your popcorn and buckle up because it's gonna be a long one. And while you're at it, if you do enjoy the video, then leave a like and subscribe to the channel. It helps out a lot, and I'd appreciate it. However, before we crack on to the greatest Stardew Valley competition of the century, let me tell you about the sponsor of today's video, War Thunder. War Thunder is the most comprehensive vehicle combat game ever made, and is available now for free on PCs and consoles. You get to take command of over 2,500 tanks, planes, helicopters, and ships of 10 major nations, ranging from biplanes and armored cars of the 1920s to the fighter jets and main battle tanks of today. If you're like me and love decorating or customizing, then you will love War Thunder's comprehensive customization system with countless camouflages, historical markings, and decorations for all types of vehicles, including community created ones. You'll get to immerse yourself in the intense combat of War Thunder, where incredibly detailed vehicles, realistic graphics, and authentic sound effects place you right at the helm of the most powerful war machines of our time. Join a worldwide community of over 70 million players in epic PvP battles today, and delve into the breathtaking experience that is War Thunder. With an unmatched wealth of high quality content to discover, there's simply no game better suited for fans of military history. You can play War Thunder for free on PC, PlayStation, or Xbox by using the link in my pinned comment or the video description. New and returning players that haven't played in 6 months will also receive a massive bonus pack across all platforms. That includes multiple premium vehicles, the exclusive vehicle decorator Eagle of Valor, 100,000 Silver Lions, and 7 days of premium. It's available for a limited time only, so be quick. Thank you again to War Thunder for sponsoring this video, but without further ado, let's get into this competition. This YouTuber right here challenged me to the ultimate Stardew Valley competition. The rules were simple: stick to your half of the farm, no exploits, and most money earned by the end of the 100 days wins. You're in for an absolute treat with this video. It's full of highs, lows, shenanigans, and a thrilling conclusion that you are going to want to stick around for. To be honest, with the amount of bugs and glitches we had filming this, it's a miracle we even made it to the end. So if you do enjoy this video and you want to see more like it, then subscribe to the channel and like the video. But without further ado, let's get right into the competition. My heart was racing and my blood was pumping as I waited for Sharky to unpause the game on day 1. And before I knew it, I was let loose and the competition was on. I raced off with my parsnip seeds in hand, but instead of planting them down, I dashed out into the valley to forage anything I could find, and prayed that Sharky didn't have the same idea, because there's only one valley but there's 2 of us. I caught the first sight of my competition in town, and it seemed Sharky had picked up on what I was doing. I split off from him as we rushed into the Cindersap forest, and I'm glad I did because I managed to pick a bunch of spring onions, which was sure to come in handy for energy later on. I circled into town so I could purchase a few more parsnip seeds and headed back to the farm. Now I know what you're thinking, a greenhouse? That thing shouldn't even be ready yet. You'd be correct, and it's actually split in half from this cool mod that Sharky found. In all honesty, we decided to add it to spice up the competition a wee bit. So it was here I decided to plant my parsnips. My initial thought was to plant them in here to stop crows from eating them. I find out later on that I'd miss out on rainy days because of this decision, but it's fine. Outside on my half of the farm, I got to chopping down trees. You may notice it takes an extra second for my wood to register and pick up. That's because Sharky is hosting the server all the way over in the UK, and I live in New Zealand, meaning that the server is stretching to the absolute maximum to keep both of us on the server. But hey, I won't let that get in the way of victory. Instead, I picked up my bootstraps and made myself a chest and headed through town to the beach. Thankfully, Sharky hadn't been here yet, and I got to forage a couple of items while I was here. That was before I decided to sneak around town in the dead of night looking through everyone's trash. A great first impression, I'm sure, but I'm not here for validation, I'm here to win. As I entered back on the farm, Sharky wanted to sleep. However, I needed to pee. It's seriously the little things that you don't think about when you're trying to film a video. No time to waste on day 2 though, because I was out the door and right to it. Yes, it's raining. Today is the 3rd because we had to sort out some stuff on the 1st and needed to save it, so we started on the 2nd, but don't you worry, I'll keep you on track with the day number anyway. It was today that I realized I had lost a bit of time since I decided to plant my crops in the greenhouse and needed to water them. But not to worry, because I'd make up for that by going around my half of the farm and scything weeds down for mixed seeds. I'll admit there's a few things to explain about this challenge, so I'll point them out as we go. For now though, I gathered a total of 8 mixed seeds, which I planted down and watered next to my parsnips in the greenhouse. A cool feature of this challenge is we can see where each other is on the map in real time, meaning that I can keep a track of what Sharky may be doing and vice versa. Shenanigans are inevitable with this in play, I'm sure. Afterwards, I ran through town and all the way to Gunther to donate a chicken statue I had found to the museum in order to get a small little payment. Hey, any gold is valuable gold in this competition. I then detoured back to the farm all the way back down to the beach, but Willie's cutscene to give me a rod didn't play. So I found Sharky and interrupted his peaceful fishing with my complaints. But over voice chat he told me to go there before 4 in the afternoon and I felt a little silly. Nevertheless, I finished up the day chopping down trees in order to make a chest for a day full of fishing tomorrow. Speaking of, it's the next day. The rain had passed and Sharky and I were back on the same page as we both had to water our crops this morning. I then raced all the way down to the beach, met with Willie to get my fishing rod and let Sharky know of my success, to which he responded with, "Yay." Aww. And for a second I forgot we were even competing. But we were competing, and no Sharky YouTuber was gonna beat me. Fired up, I checked the trash cans on the way up to the mountain lake, placed down a slightly hidden chest to help me if my inventory gets full, and cast it out into the lake to make a start on fishing. I'll take some time to explain another aspect of this 100 days, and that is to do with time. You see, in normal single player Stardew Valley, time stops whenever you fish, or check your inventory, or you open a chest, etc, etc. However, that is not the case with multiplayer, unless everyone does it at the same time. In conclusion, we both have less time in a day, time is precious, we're all gonna die someday. Also, the UI info suite mod is back, so that's fun. It shows us birthdays, weather, and all sorts, but most importantly, daily luck. I thought I'd install a bit of fear into Sharky as I got home later that night. And headed off to bed. To my misfortune, it was raining again on day 4, meaning Sharky would get another head start on the day while I was stuck watering my crops inside the greenhouse. As I made my way to the mountain lake that morning, I had a quick peek at the map and saw Sharky had decided to go cave diving. And although it was very tempting to join him and burden his expedition, I thought I'm probably better off fishing today since he got a day of extra fishing on day 2. I had some time to make up. And this is what I did all day today. I filled my boots with rainwater and fished until the evening. Before it got too late, I made the effort to transport everything I'd caught over the last couple of days to the safety of my half of the farm. It took a couple of trips to get it all back, and once I had sold off a few things to the shipping bin, I did some donuts outside my cabin. I'm not going nuts, I promise. It's because if I stand still for too long, the game will just boot me for being AFK. It's a whole thing, but I found out the hard way a couple of days ago. Day 5 is the infamous parsnip picking day, so that's exactly what I raced to do to start my day. I passed by Sharky on the way out into town, but I was too excited and got there prematurely. So to pass the time, I did some foraging and dug through some trash cans. Sharky joined me at Pierre's a short time later. Clearly we both had the same idea. So we sold off our parsnips to Pierre and I ran off with a bunch of potato seeds to plant. I stuck to my guns in the greenhouse and decided to stay the no rain but no crows route, and planted down a total of 66 potato seeds, which I had to water, of course. I still had valuable time left in the day to do something productive, and I decided to use that time back at the mountain lake, fishing away into the late hours of the night. It seems Sharky had the same idea, and I found him fishing nearby, so it only felt right to intimidate him once again by standing behind him and saying nothing. Like a couple of besties, we ran home together as if we were working together and not against each other. But then we had to go our separate ways. I was straight back to the greenhouse on day 6 to give my potatoes a much needed watering, and close by I had a few extra parsnips from those mixed seeds I planted, which for now I just shoved into the chest for safekeeping. I exchanged the parsnips for my bamboo rod and headed up to the mountain lake once again. Like I said, the amount of time you lose while in a multiplayer session is actually quite significant, but I was determined to fish until I hit level 5 fishing for the extra cash bonus I get. And despite being a bad luck day, I hauled up a few treasure chests, which I wasn't too mad about. I could feel Sharky nearby. Actually, it's because I can see his icon if he's in the same area, but it was interesting to know that he was copying me. Well, maybe that's a bit harsh, but I wasn't convinced, so I headed home by myself that night, just in case. The rain was pouring down on day 7, and that's great news for Sharky. Meaningless for me, however, since I had the fantastic idea to grow mine in the greenhouse. Once my potatoes were watered, I spent a short amount of time outside chopping trees down for a second chest. Not to brag, but my first one is pretty full of stuff. It was my time to spend some time down in the mines and make what little progress I could in the very limited time that we have. Thanks to Sharky, I was already on level 10, which made a great starting point for my expedition. It was just my luck that the first floor down was an infested floor. However, once I was past that, I was able to get a start on getting my hands on some copper and all of that good stuff. One little problem though, because of the server lag, bugs and ultimately any flying monsters become virtually unavoidable, meaning I'd take damage no matter what. Not saying I was at a disadvantage here, all I'm saying is thank goodness for those spring onions. I only made it down to level 15 by the end of the day, which despite the circumstances I was actually pretty happy with. And I didn't walk away empty-handed, so that's a win in my book. I think it's pretty obvious how day 8 started, but I'll save you the details. But my mixed seeds did give me some extra potatoes today. I put them in a chest for safekeeping. I snatched a few wild horseradishes on the way to the mountain lake this morning, and settled in for a day of fishing. Now that my fishing level was on the rise, I was able to catch a few higher quality fish today, and I'm hoping that'll help me in a few days when we attend the Egg Festival. But in the meantime, all I could do was enjoy the fresh air and perfecting my catches. During the very late hours later that night, I caught my last fish for the day and was thrilled to see that I had leveled up. So overnight I got to choose the Fisher perk for a 25% more gold boost on fish sold. Oh yeah, my plan's all coming together now. Moving right along to day 9, after watering my greenhouse potatoes, I picked out my sword and pickaxe and headed out for another mini adventure to the mines. As I descended down another 5 levels today, I was on the lookout for copper ore, bits of stone I could take home, and if I got really lucky, an ancient seed, which have a chance to drop from slain bugs. Long story short, they get turned into plantable seeds, which you can then turn into ancient wine, which equals a lot of gold. It's a great item for the late game, but it would certainly be a leg up in a competition like this. Maybe I'll get one later? Nonetheless, as I left the mines that evening, I came across my competitor fishing at the mountain lake. We shared a cute little moment together before I retired back to the farm for the night. There was still precious time left, however, so I made use of it by making my first couple of furnaces and smelting some copper before bedtime. I'd never have to water potatoes again after today, thank God. Day 10 was the last day left until they'd be ready for harvest, so I already had something to be thankful for today. I took a quick sidetrack this morning and paid a visit to the Cindersap forest to get Robin's axe for her, and I thought I might as well pick up the spring onions that had popped up for extra energy. Running all the way to the opposite side of the valley, I handed over the axe to Robin for a bit of extra cash in the pocket. As the day moved through the afternoon and into evening, all I could do was fish my little heart out. The only exciting thing that happened was that night we had a message pop up that Sharky had walked 10,000 paces. So I sent over my congratulations through a message. Turns out he was trying to stay fit, and I respect that. I then got the Mother Catch achievement and Sharky returned the congratulations. I think it's this kind of quality banter that you can expect from a Kiwi and an Englishman who are playing it cool in the heat of competition. I may have taken it too far when I waited for him to catch up later, only to hit him with the 3 dots and tease him a wee bit. Yeah, that's poor sportsmanship on my part. But day 11 is a brand new day, and it began in the greenhouse picking all of my potatoes. Along with the potatoes, I also dumped a lot of extra things into the shipping bin, like gems, artifacts, any bars of copper and quartz I had, and all of the fish I had left over. Tomorrow was an important day, and I need as much gold as I can get my dirty little hands on. As the afternoon rolled around, I found myself back in the greenhouse, making preparations for the strawberry seeds I'd be purchasing and planting tomorrow, leaving a space for sprinklers as I went. You might be thinking, Pox, you just sold all of your copper bars, you dope. How do you expect to make sprinklers now? I hear you, but don't fret, my friends. You'll see in a few days why I didn't keep them for sprinklers. For now, the preparations continued as I put down some stone paths on the sprinkler spaces, and I took some time to water the spaces, saving me valuable time tomorrow. And although it took him 11 days to get here, Sharky finally adopted his side of the greenhouse for what I assume is going to be the same reason as myself. I won't lie, it was nice to have some company. With all the groundwork done and dusted, I got a spare moment to myself to plan ahead and think about my strategy from here on out. But then I got bored and I didn't want to disconnect, so I did figure eights around this tree stump in a tiny tree. The Egg Festival was upon us on day 12, a very important day that could completely change the landscape of this competition. My dirt didn't stay watered overnight though, so I had to deal with that, and Sharky had to do that too, so yeah. Okay, where were we? Oh yeah, right. Important day. We headed into town together and entered the festival. First things first, we both stopped off at Pierre's stall to buy however many strawberry seeds we needed. For me, it was 128, which I was feeling very confident about. Sharky and I shared another cute moment with the bunny cutout. And then it was time for the egg hunt. There's nothing like having a friendly competition amongst a bigger, more intense competition. I took off in the opposite direction than I usually do once it started, but I'm glad I did, because as I added egg after egg to my tally, I managed to find a total of 11 eggs. And yes, I came away the winner. I'll admit, it felt good to win that. But I couldn't dwell on my winnings for too long. Well, just enough to rub it in a wee bit. But I planted down the strawberries in the pitch black greenhouse, put on the straw hat as a stark reminder every time Sharky sees me that I won, and I headed to bed. Riding the high that was yesterday, day 13, I didn't even mind watering so many strawberries, because they taste like victory. I'll explain why I was so cryptic about the sprinklers before. It's because we added a mod that makes them purchasable from Pierre's. That's right, we have the decision to either buy them for 3,000 gold each, or dive into the mines to craft them. For now, I think I'll buy them. So while Sharky was still watering his plants, I got to flex a bit as I popped down my first sprinkler on the farm. Afterwards, I grabbed my rod and headed out to the mountain lake. Quick side note, Sharky found a lost book and I hit him with a "let's go!" I got no reply back, so safe to say I felt a little bit silly. Anyway, it was now in my best interest to keep making as much gold as I possibly could so that I could buy more sprinklers. More sprinklers means less time watering, and in turn more time to focus on other money-making endeavors. Since fishing is by far the most profitable skill for me at the moment, I stuck to it and decided that would be how I'd get the 15 sprinklers I needed for the strawberries. So I started to get into a productive rhythm, water the strawberries, buy a sprinkler from Pierre's, add it to the greenhouse, and fish for the rest of the day, which made me just enough money to buy another sprinkler the next day. It was a stellar game plan, but it gets a bit repetitive, so why don't we just roll it into a bit of a montage? I'm cutting in here on day 20 because it was time for the first strawberry harvest today, but I spied Sharky's ancient fruit plant growing, and I won't lie, that scared me a bit. Only time will tell how scary that really is. For now, I finished off watering the rest of my plants and headed into town. I didn't have any patience to wait until tomorrow for my profits, so I sold the strawberries straight to Pierre. Which was fine by me because I got to walk out there with 7 whole sprinklers. And adding them to my side of the greenhouse right in front of my opponent seemed to put my ego on a very high pedestal. I took that pedestal all the way to the mountain lake and fished for the rest of the day. So yeah, back to the montage. Yes, we did end up skipping the flower dance yesterday, because let's be real, no one values relationships right now. So here we are on day 24 for the second strawberry harvest. Usually that would be the last, however the tactful thing about them being planted in our snazzy greenhouse is they will never die. I dropped by Pierre's to sell off my berries and used some of the money to get 2 sprinklers. I ran all the way back to the greenhouse and after watering my strawberries for the final time, I finished laying down the 2 final sprinklers. I am so happy to admit that the tedious fishing grind was well worth the effort. So what do I do with all this free time I have? Well, I fish of course, because what the hell else am I meant to do? Anyway, continuing right along to day 25, I popped into the greenhouse just to admire my setup this morning. I had no crops to water for the first time in 25 days. The sky's the limit and time is on my side finally. I feel like I could do anything. Fishing. Fishing is what I did. Truth be told, I was coming up to level 10, meaning I could get the perk above Angler, which sells my fish for even more gold, which gives me even more reason to go fishing for more gold. Look, it's a dangerous cycle. But gold was the name of the game, and I was determined to win, damn it! I retired the fishing rod for day 26 in favour of planning for the summer season right around the corner. My farm needed space to fit some summer crops, so I got to work clearing out space for a soon-to-be crop field. And as I went, I started to place down stone paths in place of where the sprinklers would go. I know it's a competition, but hey, hand on my heart, I can't help being an organised farmer. As the day wandered on, I kept on clearing out the top side of the farm until I had quite a sizable patch of land to work with. To finish up the day, I placed down a couple of scarecrows for future proofing and double checked that I could hoe the dirt on the edge of the area because that would have been bad. Before bed, a nosy Sharky hopped across the middle line to come and see what I was up to. We exchanged our classic banter and he even gave me a compliment on my crop fields. I then decided to join him over on his half of the farm and well, let's just say there's nothing to see here. His words, not mine. I offered some words of Poxial wisdom before heading back to my side and calling it in for the night. Day 27 was our final day of spring, and what better way to celebrate such a momentous day than by fishing all day long. I got level 10 fishing today though, so that's cool. I'm not kidding though, I seriously fished all day. But to be honest, there wasn't too much else I could fill my time with that would be anywhere near as profitable. So fishing it was. I retired home earlier than usual that night. I think I was all fished out. Sharky had filled some of that potential I had mentioned yesterday, but I think he wasn't too happy about it. Now here is where we would usually dive right into summer. However, we quickly realized that the next day would not load, and both of our games were plagued with smappy startup errors. Yeah, remember when I said it's a miracle we even finished this? We thought this was it. This is where it would end. Thank goodness for Sharky though, because he managed to figure out the problem. Turns out it was the modded map we were using causing the problems. The mod slightly altered the 4 corners map, meaning that we would have to delete the mod and play on a regular 4 corners map. So with the errors now gone, everything's still working and playing on a slightly different map. We were ready to jump right back into it. I never thought I would see it, but here we are on day 28, the first day of summer. It started off with some strawberry picking and debris clearing from around the farm, all before getting to work under the hot summer sun and hoeing dirt around my crop fields. I didn't have time to be sad, but the corner of this top section couldn't be hoed, and the part of my brain that just loves everything to be aesthetically pleasing was screaming, crying, and throwing up. Eventually I got that done and afterwards headed into town. I popped into none other than Pierre's to sell off my strawberries so that in return I could stock up on blueberry seeds and 11 quality sprinklers. Back on the farm I planted all my blueberry seeds down, except one, and got to the slow task of watering them all. My hard work finished that evening and I got to celebrate by putting down all of those sprinklers I had bought. It doesn't cover the whole field of crops, but I must admit it's a great start. For the first time in this whole video, I've actually got nothing to do, so I just mooched. I put some torches down for light before hitting the hay later that night. After the success that was yesterday, I began day 29 watering the blueberries, not quite fortunate enough to have a sprinkler yet. I even got a quick sneak peek at Sharky's side of the farm on the way out this morning, but I was a man on a mission. That mission being to buy 2 more sprinklers from Pierre's. But hey, that's 2 more sections I don't have to water in the mornings. I still had a lot of my day left to use up, so I decided to head to the bottom half of my side of the farm and start clearing it out, being very careful to leave any oak trees standing so I can tap them later. But yeah, that's about all I did today. I did have a nosy look on the map to see where Sharky had been, and I found his little icon down by the beach, so I think he went fishing for the day. I finally got the benefits of rainfall on day 30. I didn't have to water my blueberries, and I was over the moon with joy. So with all of this extra time and energy, I thought I would hit the mines for the day. Not to mention it was also a pretty good luck day. So I started my expedition today on level 20 and not where we left off last time because I was hoping to gather a bunch of copper. Simply because I needed tappers to put on the oak trees to make oak resin to make kegs which I can use later for lots and lots and lots and lots of gold. It is a long process, but it all starts with copper, and that's exactly why I'm here. And I was here for quite a while, but I called it quits later that night before it got too late. So that back on the farm I could smelt the ore into bars and turn the bug meat into free fishing bait. God forbid I have to fish more, but it's there just in case. The sun was back out and shining on day 31, but all that really meant was I had to water my blueberries. Then it was back to the mines to dig for copper. You'll be pleased to know my flying monster slaying abilities have improved since I last mentioned it. I've studied and learned the ancient art of lag and have somehow mastered my abilities. But apart from that, it was pretty similar to yesterday. I popped home a bit earlier today to smelt all the goodies I had found before using them to craft my first lot of tappers. I say, a smashing success. I still had some time to kill before bed, so I just cleared out more debris. After watering my blueberries again, I was happy to see a greenhouse full of strawberries on day 32. It was interesting to compare Sharky's side to mine. I'm not saying it's bad. Mine might look a little nicer though, that's all I'm saying. But this was a competition about making money after all, so it doesn't matter how it looks, as long as it's making you that precious gold, that's all that matters. Speaking of gold, I took my strawberries to Pierre's again to sell them off, before purchasing the large pack and a few more sprinklers. Back on the farm, I couldn't help but have a quick peek at what Sharky was up to before putting my sprinklers down on the crop fields. I needed a change of scenery if I were to go fishing again, so I made the decision to fish off the pier instead. Only a couple more sprinklers would take the burden of watering crops every morning off of my hands, so I sucked it up and decided fishing would earn me the gold I needed. So I fished the rest of the day away. It seems I spoke too soon though, because the rain is back and watering blueberries is already crossed off my list on day 33, how good! So I fished out into the ocean, fished until my boots were aquariums. Good thing my straw hat keeps me dry. Oh wait, it's straw. I did take a quick break to buy a couple of sprinklers, and I kept on fishing. I only had one section of blueberries to water the morning of day 34, and after doing a few donuts in the town square, buying the final sprinkler and placing it down on the farm, I no longer had to water crops. Despite the terrible luck today, and partly because I didn't want to fish anymore, I dived into the mines in hopes of reaching deeper levels. I'll be honest, it was going pretty well. By the afternoon I'd passed level 35, and was making great progress when all of a sudden I got jump scared by a certain someone.
Hi, how are you?
So now both Sharky and I were making our way down the mines together. I had to remember to beat him to the ores as we kept on descending. I didn't want to give him an upper hand. We eventually made it to and past level 40, and it was a race for the iron ore. And then he was gone. It's fine. I just thought we had something, Sharky. And then you just go and ditch me like that. Day 35 is an interesting one, not because anything major happened, but it's because of what happened after the day finished. As for what I did today, well, it wasn't anything special. I pretty much just spent the whole day clearing out more of the farm to make room for more oak trees to grow. Also, I got some salads from the saloon for more of a stable source of energy. Then to finish it off, I redecorated. We've got this instant buildings mod on too, by the way, in case you were wondering how I just did that. So, not too exciting, right? Well, just as the day ended, we got hit with a black screen. Then I got kicked. Did anything for that day save? Absolutely not. So we had to redo the whole day. And now we're all back on track. Rolling right along to day 36, another round of strawberries were awaiting my picking this morning, and after dealing with them, I circled into town to sell them off to the man himself, before using the money at Clint's to buy a couple of piles of ore. You'll also notice I can spend more money at Clint's to get my tools upgraded faster. That's because we're using the Rush Orders mod, just to make things interesting. And so neither me nor Sharky can hog Clint's services for themselves. That afternoon I found myself back on the farm, and in between smelting my ores, I made a start on the crop field extension. Farming is by far the most profitable method of making money, and when put through kegs and preserve jars, you're looking at some major earnings. So there's no harm spending money to make money as far as I'm concerned. I continued to work away on this as the night came. I started day 37 in front of Clint's ripping up his lawn with a few donuts. Sorry Clint, but I'm taking precautionary measures. I was here to insta-upgrade my axe to copper, and I really wish this was in vanilla Stardew. I wouldn't mind spending a couple of grand extra to upgrade tools right away. Nonetheless, I took the axe home to chop down the stumps in the way of my expanding crop fields. I guess you could say they were stumping my progress. I then plucked up the willpower to spend the day fishing. I know, super brave of me. Willie joined me for a while, and then he left. Not because it was getting late, but he was just jealous of how many fish I was catching. My first round of oak resin was ready to gather up the morning of day 38. I used it to craft my first 8 kegs, and I'll be honest with you all, I was feeling pretty good about myself. So good in fact, I actually didn't mind fishing today. Who would have thought that would be the case? I then just fished away the day up at the mountain lake. Nothing else to say really, except for it's day 39. I did some quick math out in the middle of my field to do some calculations before running into town. I popped by Pierre's to get 6 sprinklers, which I placed down back on the farm. I'm just waiting for a strawberry harvest to fund the rest of the sprinklers and seeds. For now though, it was back to the mines for the day for iron ore. I'll need to keep on top of my iron and copper ore every week so that I have enough bars to craft kegs as soon as my oak resin is ready. Truth be told, I'm gearing up for a big pumpkin season in fall so that I can turn them all into juice. But shh, don't tell Sharky that. It's day 40, and lucky for me, I have a strawberry harvest that I can fund the rest of the sprinklers and seeds. I even got to shove a few into my kegs for strawberry wine. Don't mind me stalking Shane, by the way. I don't know why I did that. Anyway, with the gold from the strawberries, I got to purchase the remaining sprinklers I needed, and the extension was ready for seeds. When I get more gold someday soon. In the meantime, I took some time to lay out plans for further crop field extensions. The prospect of so many crops was looking quite appeasing. That afternoon I took off to the south to the Cindersap forest to gather some wood, but there was an obvious lack of trees around, meaning a certain someone had come through before having the same idea. However, there were a few trees left for me to chop down, and I finished up the day doing just that. I woke up feeling blue the morning of day 41 because there was a sea of blue in the crop fields and I smelled gold. I ran the berries all the way to Pierre's and exchanged them for that wonderful gold, which I used to purchase 4 more sprinklers and a bunch of melon seeds. These are going to make a nice profit, I think. As I was getting the fields ready for my melons back on the farm, Sharky paid me a visit, and well, he didn't seem too happy about all the progress I had made. I tried to ask him why, but he just ran off. Just like he ran away from me in the mines. Let's be real, he probably had something important to do. I continued to hoe dirt, put my 4 sprinklers down, planted all the melon seeds I had bought, and got to watering them. By the time I'd finished with the melons, it was getting late, so before bed I whacked a few more trees down for wood, and waited patiently for Sharky to get home so that we could sleep at the same time. I checked in on my kegs, my oak resin, and strawberries to see if I had anything to do on the farm this morning. But there was nothing to do, until Sharky made a whole ass pond appear right before my very eyes.
Magic.
I'll be interested to see what he's up to with that. As for my day, well, I just bought some bait from Willie and fished off the pier all day. Yep, another day of fishing. Until it got late, of course, then I headed home for the night. So we should probably move on to day 43. Once again, nothing on the farm needed my attention, so what better way to pass the time in a productive way than dive down the mines for ores. This time I stuck to the higher levels so that I could stock up on more copper ore. I think it was getting a bit late into the run to make an ancient seed profitable. However, I could probably pick it up as a reward from the museum since Sharky got one. But hey, I've got way better money making methods in the works anyway. Also, fun fact, bombs have a delay due to the lag. I thought it looked funny. Anywho, I culled the grub population by getting a monster slayer goal done and let Sharky know that I was all business. To which Sharky replied, "You tell him." I will, Sharky, I will. Another strawberry harvest is how I started day 44. I was going to hand them over to Pierre like I usually do, but forgot it was Wednesday. I could rant on about how Wednesday is a stupid day not to be open, but we'd be here for a while. Instead, I detoured back home to chuck them into the shipping bin and headed back over to Clint's, so that I could buy a bit more copper and coal to smelt. As for the rest of the day, well, I just chopped trees in the cinder sap forest. I've got cakes to make. Wood doesn't just grow on trees. Well, does it? It is the tree. Does it grow on the tree? Is that statement true? I don't know. Later that night, I was being intrusive and peeking around the other half of the farm looking at what Sharky was up to. But then he spotted me, so I ran away. Day 45, I awoke to a field full of juicy blueberries, so I got to picking all of them. No words were spoken as I passed Sharky this morning. We were both locked in and focused. I was on my way to Pierre's to sell off my blueberries, and in an odd turn of events, I decided to buy 4 peach saplings. The greenhouse has these 4 spaces for trees, and peaches are one of the most profitable fruits, so hey, I might as well try and make good use of them. Close by, my oak resin was ready for another week, which I used to add another 8 kegs to my ever-growing collection. I took off for a change of pace in the latter half of the day, deciding to fish the rest of it away down over the ocean. It seemed that Sharky had the same idea and joined me for a bit of peaceful fishing soon after. There are some moments I have to remember that this is a competition, and this is one of those moments. I didn't let the thunder get me down on day 46, even though there was nothing on the farm to do. I still managed to get a copper hoe upgrade over at Clint's. I put a chest beside my kegs to help with future organization. I even hit up the mines for more copper. I was having a great time until this happened. Then I was not having a fun time. So I'm very happy to move on to day 47. My first lot of strawberry wine was ready to be gathered, which I immediately replaced with more strawberries, before storing the first lot in my chest for a rainy day. I did seem to be supporting a healthy amount of gold in my pockets, so I thought I should splash a bit and reward myself. How do you do that in Stardew Valley? Well, you get yourself a couple of tool upgrades, that's what you do. Specifically, I got a copper pickaxe and a copper watering can upgrade. On the way back home, I repeated old habits and stalked Sharky at the bus stop. First Shane, now Sharky, who's next? As for the rest of the day, I stumbled into Sharky down at the beach, and we both fished away the day again. He kept his distance from me this time. I think from all of this fishing and zero personal hygiene, I'm starting to smell a bit like the ocean, so fair enough. It was a strawberry picking kind of day to start day 48. I couldn't be bothered running all the way to Pierre's, so I dumped them into the shipping bin instead. That being said, I did run all the way to the mines to continue the adventure downwards, and I got to put my trident dagger that I had fished up yesterday to work slaying monsters. I wasn't in any rush, so I made sure to mine all the iron and good loot while I was down here. I called it quits later on, having reached level 65, and ran away with an inventory full of goodies. I think it's to no one's surprise that I was happy to see a field full of blueberries this morning, and of course I had the pleasure to pick all of them, which again I just dumped into the shipping bin. Afterwards I made my way through town and back over to Clint's, just so I could pick up some extra copper to smelt back on the farm. On the way back I popped into Pierre's quickly to purchase some more sprinklers, which I placed down back on the farm to finish up the crop field extension. Fall is coming up quickly and I need as much space to grow pumpkins as I can. I saw Sharky was down in the mines and I did consider going to intrude on his day, but I thought I'd just leave him to it. Just kidding, I let my intrusive thoughts win. I barged right in there and tried to steal as much iron as I could. With our competitive efforts, we actually managed to get all the way to level 80. Although time had crept up fast, and for the first time in this whole video, I passed out right on my doorstep. But it doesn't matter because it's day 50. We are halfway through this competition and I actually have no clue who's winning. Nobody does. And that scares me. But all we can do is keep on going until a winner is crowned. I double checked everything on the farm but nothing needed my attention. So I flew right back to the mines to continue the dive to the bottom. These levels are where I'm able to mine up gold, which might come in handy later as extra cash in the pocket. But I was glad to have the bone sword I had picked up yesterday to help me fight the monsters down here. And after a day's worth of adventure, I managed to make it to level 90, where I got a brand spanking new sword. All before sleepy times, and it was Sharky's turn to pass out. If I'm being honest, day 51 was just a repeat of yesterday. There was nothing for me to do on the farm, so I hit up the mines for the day. Only difference being, when I made it to level 100, there was a big juicy purple starfruit waiting for me. Although the game gave it away in the chat, so now Sharky knows, but hey, he was gonna find it at some point. I just wish it wasn't straight away. But that extra energy will be a bonus. And I got level 5 combat. I was graced with a generous greenhouse full of greenery on day 52. Well, that's quite fun to say actually. Not to mention another round of oak resin needed my picking. And I was able to make another 8 kegs to add to my collection. Then I stood around for a bit. I think I was doing some very important calculations. As the afternoon rolled around, I took off south again to chop trees. I'm starting to figure out that if I can get to a high enough foraging level, I can get tree fertilizer, which will help me grow more oak trees, meaning more oak resin, resulting in more kegs, a la more money. Plus, I still wanted wood for things anyway, so it worked out both ways. But tree chopping took up a lot of my time, so it's right on to day 53. Not only did I have blueberries ripe for picking, but so were my melons. I was a very happy man. I went around picking both melons and blueberries, very satisfying by the way. And while I dumped the blueberries into the shipping bin, I'm holding the melons to turn into wine. Since melon wine is almost double the selling price of strawberry wine. It's a no-brainer really. I then ran through the rain and over to Pierre's because I wanted to purchase wheat seeds and speed grow. You see, with speed grow the wheat will be ready exactly on the 1st, as wheat won't die at the change of the season, ultimately saving me time on the 1st of fall. I may be aesthetically pleasing, but I'm also a smart little cookie. As for the rest of the day, I had a gander at Sharky's side of the farm. I bought some more salads from Gus, and I did a quick bit of fishing down by the beach, all before heading to bed. It seemed I wasn't quite finished fishing though, as I continued my fishing efforts onto day 54. And I did not stop fishing until the sun was well gone below the horizon, only just making it back in time that night for bed. It was the final day of summer on day 55, and there was nothing more important this morning than convincing Sharky to attend the Moonlight Jellies with me. He said yes, and I was very happy. I paid Robin a visit this morning for the first time ever. I opted to buy my wood rather than work hard for it, but that's okay, I had a bit of spare change to throw around. You'll also notice that you can buy hardwood. We added it just in case, but no one used it anyway, so who cares? You don't. Moving on. I made it back home where I put together some preserve jars. My initial plan was to use them for peaches, hence why I placed them down in the greenhouse. This changes very quickly. For now I was content, and I passed the time chopping rogue stumps for hardwood, mooching around the farm, and doing donuts in town waiting for Sharky. Eventually he arrived and we headed to the festival together. Lewis launched the boat and we got to watch the Moonlight Jellies arrive at the shore. And of course, listen to musical brilliance. It's day 56, and with that the fall season is finally upon us. Just as I had planned, the wheat I had planted was ready to harvest, which was going to be a big help today. Along with the wheat, I scythed away my now dead blueberry plants, then got to work hoeing the rest of the dirt up in preparation for pumpkins galore. Quickly running into town, I paid a visit to Pierre's where I purchased a staggering 416 pumpkin seeds. which I got to planting back down on my side of the farm. Strangely, I had 2 seeds left over. I thought I'd calculated to only have 1 because of, that one annoying spot, but I couldn't put off watering any longer, so I finished that up as fast as I could. As the evening crept up, I realized that we had another strawberry harvest in the greenhouse. Good thing I saved myself time. And I decided to switch out the idea of preserving peaches for strawberries instead, and I dumped them into the chest for safekeeping. The mystery of the extra pumpkin seed really took over my conscience that night. But it does seem that I have filled every spot, so I concluded that I just counted wrong somewhere in the mix. My field of pumpkins were a beautiful sight to behold on day 57. There's a slight hint of profit in the air this morning. I started my day clearing debris out from the farm before running all the way through town and over to Clint's. I was here to pick up a few ores to smelt and a bunch of coal. The coal I used to make a few more preserve jars to add on to the ones I already had. Then it was off to Robin's. But it's Tuesday, so she isn't there. You'd think after so many hundreds of hours of playing this game I'd remember that. I finished off the day chopping down what little trees were still standing in the cindersap forest for wood, and dumped some strawberry wine into the shipping bin. And hey, would you look at that, level 5 foraging! I wasted the morning away on day 58 looking for trees to chop, and since there were hardly any standing, I decided to use Robin's services instead. Before heading home, I circled around to Clint's to pick up even more coal, and I used all the materials to make a few more jars as my plans had slightly changed. Basically, I was going to keg all of the pumpkins and preserve all of the strawberries, and anything else I could fit in around it would be an extra bonus towards the final tally. To continue my brilliant plan, I planted more acorns in the bottom section in hopes of growing a few more oak trees before winter. And to round out the day, I went around the valley in the dead of night chopping trees and foraging anything that I could find. The first batch of strawberry jelly was ready and waiting for me in the greenhouse on day 59. Part of my brilliant plan was to move the jars from out of the greenhouse and to the bottom section of the farm, for both ease of access and because the plan is to make a buttload of them. So I loaded them up with more blueberries and had the pleasure of collecting another round of oak resin from my oak trees. No surprises, I turned them into more kegs and extended my collection by another 8. Afterwards, I took off in search of more trees. In my head at the time, I was trying really hard to get my foraging to level 7. Like I said, to craft more tree fertilizer, to grow more trees, to get more oak resin, yada 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 yada. In hindsight, it was a very out of reach goal, but did that stop me right now? Of course not. I exhausted my efforts by the evening and thought a good use of my time could be spent fishing on the pier, so I did exactly that. By the time I got home later that night, my first batch of melon wine was ready to be collected, which I replaced with even more melons. Gotta ferment something while those pumpkins are growing. Day 60, the strawberries were ready for another bountiful harvest, but since I had a few spare in the chest anyway, I dropped by piers to sell them off for some instant profit. While in town, I thought I might as well buy a pile of iron ore and some hardwood from Robin. Yes, this is the one time I buy it, but it's for something truly useless. What might that be, you ask? Well, I'll tell you shortly. I popped into Sharky's house for no particular reason and was shocked at what I saw. I had so many questions. How long has this been going on for? How much gold had this made him? Why was he keeping secrets from me? Okay, well, I know why he hid it, but this made me nervous. You may be wondering how I responded to this shocking revelation. What did I do to get back at Sharky? I made a horse stable. See, here it is. I moved it up here beside the house. And I made a path to it. Now, there was a reason I got Stella the steed. Remember how I wanted to get level 7 foraging? In my head at the time, I was trying really hard to get my foraging to level 7. Like I said, to craft more tree fertilizer, to grow more trees, to get more oak resin, yada 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 yada. Well, I thought a horse would allow me to get around faster. But look how slow it is! I can run faster than this horse moves! I'm sorry, why did I think this would be a good idea? I didn't even get that much done today because I was moving at the same pace as I would be horseless. In better news, I got to collect another assortment of strawberry jelly and start a new batch of jam. But I think it'd be better if we moved on to day 62. I wanted to keep using Stella because I'm stubborn and kept telling myself it was definitely worth it, when it most certainly was not. I took her to see the ocean today. I wanted to make up for my bad purchase in some way, so fishing it was. That was until I saw that Sharky had caught a legendary fish. You could say I was influenced to do the same on day 63. I wanted to catch a fish worth loads of gold and have my name pop up too. If I could, I'd fish for legendary fish all day every day, but you can only catch one of each per save file. So it was back to fishing on the pier again. At least I had Stella with me to keep me company. What feels like the 100th round of strawberries needed picking the morning of day 64. Not that I'm complaining, I'm very grateful for my strawberries. Although I left the greenhouse and I seem to be down a stallion. My strawberry jelly was the last of my concern as I asked Sharky if he had done the unthinkable and stolen my horse. He replied with no. So on my way to investigate, he all of a sudden found it outside the store. Well, I'm not buying it, but joke's on you, Sharky, because my steed is slow as hell, so you really just did me a favour. After selling the strawberries to Pierre's and nabbing some coal from Clint's, I was interrupted by Sharky trying to justify his actions, saying that he needed a taxi service, and he asked how much I charged. I said 1,000 gold per gallop, because, you know, inflation. The cheeky bastard said no problem, I'm loaded. That is one brash shark. Back on the farm, I asserted some more dominance, collected up more strawberry jelly, and shoved more strawberries into the jars for another batch. To round out the day, I smelted some iron, dumped a few jars of jelly into the shipping bin, and mooched around the farm until bedtime. Absolutely nothing needed attended to on the farm this morning, so day 65 started up at Robin's, doing donuts on Stella. At least I have a friend to do the donuts with now. I was here to purchase piles of stone and wood because I am too lazy to get it myself. Simply to make more preserve jars. I even did it twice. Although I couldn't quite afford the coal, so I only managed to get 16 more, but hey, that's pretty good. And I was happy to add them to my collection back on the farm. That afternoon, I can confidently say I didn't do anything productive. Still, I got a very extensive tour of the farm, that's for sure. I did harass Sharky on the way home that night, but all I got was him making fun of how slow Stella moves. It was all happening on day 66. First, my melon wine was ready for gathering, which I immediately shoved into the shipping bin since my funds were looking a little sad. Next was gathering my oak resin and tapping a tree that had grown. Third on my list was to make a few more kegs and slap them down with the other ones. And then I was back to the mines. It's been a hot minute since I had been down here, and I decided to stick to the iron levels for, and this may shock you, iron.
Wow.
But by the late afternoon, I was pretty satisfied with the amount of iron I had mined. So I switched it up and went to the copper levels for a while. I was here for the rest of the night and I finally got to use my farm warp I'd picked up ages ago. A third of my pumpkins are ready. That may seem confusing. Well, remember when I used the speed grow for the wheat that I planted at the end of summer? Well, it sticks around if you don't unhoe the dirt, hence why this lot grew faster than the others. Operation Strawberry Jelly Pumpkin Juice, or SJPJ for short, was in full swing. Speaking of, another batch of jelly was ready to gather at the same time. And despite the lack of strawberries to preserve, I decided to not let time go to waste and preserved melons in the meantime. Sharky and I crossed paths as I finished up buying more pumpkin seeds and leaving Pierre's soon afterwards. And back on the farm, I planted down those pumpkin seeds to grow for even more wondrous pumpkin juice. After such a busy morning, a change of pace was well deserved. So I just fished the day away, enjoying the sound of rain and the thought of Sharky hopefully freaking out that I already have pumpkin juice in the works. I'll admit it, day 68 was a little less exciting. There was another strawberry harvest and I thought I'd dump them straight into the shipping bin. There was also a bit of ore smelting going on, and then there was more fishing. You'll notice Stella isn't with me much anymore, that's because I gave up on her. She's just so goddamn slow. 2/3 of my pumpkins are ready, and on funny number day no less. There were a lot of pumpkins to pick this morning, but the thought of the profit they would bring brought a smile to my face. I even added a couple more spaces for more pumpkins to try and squeeze out as much money from this harvest as I could. And then it was off to Pierre's, to buy more pumpkin seeds of course. I finished planting all 312 pumpkin seeds by the mid-afternoon, and I still had 2 extra. That is no coincidence, surely. I didn't have time to theorize, however, because I had to put down another scarecrow to cover the extra crops and run laps around my preserve jars. Yeah, not too sure why. Oh, it's because they were gonna be ready. I thought I was losing it for a second there. And so I put in another round of melon/strawberry jam to be made before bed. I made 10 more preserve jars to start day 70. Sure, I may have cut out buying all the materials for them from all the vendors, but this becomes pretty standard every time I make more. I also chopped trees down today, so that's pretty cool. Chopped down quite a few actually. It was quite fun. Also, Sharky made a shed. He seemed pretty happy about it. And now I want one. Heading outside on day 71, I was treated to my first batch of pumpkin juice. Juice doesn't take as long as wine to ferment, so you'll be seeing quite a lot of this. I became involved in a game of monkey see, monkey do this morning. Sharky fishes up a legendary fish. I fish up a legendary fish. Sharky starts using a shed. I build one to start using a shed too. He's got some great ideas that I just like to steal. So I placed down the kegs in my brand new shed and filled them up with pumpkins again. Then I put one outside so I didn't have to keep popping in to see if it was ready yet. Discontent with just one shed, I made another. This one will eventually hold my jars, but I'll move them when they're not preserving jam. Later that evening I ran into Sharky while hunting for trees to chop down. Safe to say we both had no idea what either one was doing. After another strawberry harvest and ripping up Robin's front yard with some donuts, I started day 72 with a commission from Robin's for a big shed upgrade. Did I know that instant buildings only happen when you're on the farm? No. No, I did not. Would I have to wait for it to be built now, inconveniencing me highly? Yes. Yes, I will. I found Sharky lurking beside my sheds when I got back. I think someone's a little jealous. I was going to move the jars into my shed, but since it's being worked on, I had to settle for another batch to be made under the stars. To wrap up the day, I bought some more salads from the saloon as I was running low, and fished while watching the sun go down. However, I let time slip away from me in the late hours of the night and may have passed out on the way home. Not to worry though, because day 73 is a brand new day, and with it came another round of oak resin, and I placed down 9 more kegs to my collection. I really wanted a big shed upgrade for my kegs, and I had learnt my lesson from yesterday. The only thing holding me back was the lack of funds, so instead I took my frustrations out reeling in fish for the rest of the day. I made it home in time tonight though, so I'll take the win. Adding to my wins, the first thing I did on day 74 was insta-build that big shed upgrade, and now I had space for so many more kegs. Afterwards, I returned to the familiar site of the mines and farmed for copper on the higher levels. Either I wanted to work hard for my materials, or I was killing time until I had more money from juice and jam. Either way, I was having a much more enjoyable experience slaying monsters now that I could one-hit them. The rain wasn't dampening my mood the next day because as I rounded the corner this morning, I was greeted by profits galore in the sweet forms of jam and juice. The pumpkin juice was the first to be sorted. I rearranged the kegs in the shed in a more accessible way and filled them back up with more pumpkins. Then I sorted the jam by collecting it all, gathering up the jars from outside and rearranging them into the now finished big shed. I then headed into town to sell them all off to Pierre so that I could purchase coal from Clint's and wooden stone from Robin's, which I crafted all together into 20 more jars and added them to the jam shed. That's right, I'm calling it the jam shed now. And you know what, the others shall be known as the juice shed. There isn't too much to be said about the rest of the day except that I stalked Sharky all the way home from the Cindersap forest. He didn't seem too happy about it. Look, I know it's a bad habit, but you have to admit, it's pretty funny. There were no shenanigans on day 76, but during another strawberry harvest I noticed my peach trees were finally sprouting fruit, so that was cool. After dumping the strawberries into my jars in the jam shed, I bought a mountain of coal from Clint's. 4 more jars and smelting ores, I guess? I can't really remember why I did that. Nonetheless, it was back to the mines again today. I was here for copper, probably to help craft more kegs and tappers, and to save money as I got into a bad habit buying it from Clint's. Day 77 was no different from the previous day actually. This time I was after iron, and genuinely spent all day here. That was until I got home later that night to smelt it all. So let's move right along to day 78. I got to harvest more pumpkins this morning, which I tucked away for safekeeping. I was tossing up whether or not I should plant something in place of the pumpkins, but ultimately concluded it wouldn't be worth it. Instead, I went to chop trees down in the Cindersap forest for a while, and what better way to finish off a day than running in circles like a nut job. Actually, I was waiting for the jelly to finish, which as I collected, I swapped out the jelly for pumpkins instead. I thought I might as well since I've got the excess, and pickled pumpkin sells for more than strawberry jelly anyway. I was working in the juice shed the morning of day 79. Now, today was an interesting one. Sure, I added more jars to the jam shed after crafting 20 more, but I started to have problems picking up this one jar I had misplaced. I just could not pick it up. Then the peaches I picked from the greenhouse became unobtainable too. And then this happened. That's right, I was stuck on a loading screen that just didn't want to seem to let me through. But it doesn't stop there because things get even weirder. While I was stuck on this screen, I started talking to Sharky, who saw this. Finally, at 1 AM, I was released from purgatory, and I have no idea why this happened. Neither of us do, to be honest. Maybe the server was just having a hissy fit, but that was very weird. And that's it, it's over, right? Wrong. We were stuck sleeping at 2 AM, and I was back in purgatory. Just when I thought I'd escaped. So one restart later, we were back. Did it save? No, of course it didn't. So I had to do everything again. I collected juice, refilled kegs, picked peaches from the greenhouse, made more jars, placed them in the jam shed, and painted my buildings because why not, and I even decorated a little. But thank the good heavens, everything was back to normal on day 80. I could not handle every day being like that. While gathering oak resin this morning, I got to tap a few more oak trees that had grown at the same time. And I managed to add another 14 kegs to the juice shed right after. On top of that, I had the 2000th strawberry harvest to attend to. I sold them off to Pierre and used the cash to buy even more materials from both Clint and Robin to try and make enough jars to fill out the rest of my jam shed. Sadly, I came up short, but I was so close. I can't say too much happened for the rest of the day. I was just praying that it would save, which it did. While waiting for the pickled pumpkins to be ready this morning, I indulged myself with more donuts. Not the food, but rather the action. Anyway, I collected up a batch of pickled pumpkins in favour of another round of the exact same thing. I am trying to utilise the surplus amount of pumpkins I've grown because I won't be able to juice them all by the end of the 100 days, so preserving them is the next best thing. Repeating a similar path to yesterday, I sold the pickled pumpkins to Pierre and bought piles upon piles of stone and wood from Robin. This time, however, I was more successful in filling my shed full of jars, and what a beautiful sight it was. But my productivity came to a screeching halt afterwards, instead opting to put on my decorator hat and making my sheds look pretty. I did this all night long. And even continued on to day 82. After picking the final pumpkin harvest, of course, I couldn't miss out on that now, could I? I wish I could say otherwise, but I am a sucker for a good decorating session. I even added grass. What a madman. And a path to the oak trees. He's crazy. But I will give myself credit for what I had access to. I didn't do too bad of a job. Day 83 marks the final day of fall, and it began by collecting up another round of juice and, you guessed it, making more juice. Afterwards, I started clearing out some of the top section of the farm. Why, you may ask? For a coop, which I upgraded all the way to a deluxe coupe. I have a devious little plan brewing. It's got nothing to do with the competition, but a devious little plan indeed. I summoned a silo to go right beside it too. Don't worry, you'll find out soon enough. For now, I wandered across to Sharky's side to have a sneaky look into his sheds. Interesting. Very interesting. I'm glad I stayed up because I got to swap out some pickled pumpkins for another round of pickled pumpkins. And just like that, it was... A cool chill has taken over the valley on day 84, and the first thing on my mind was the fact that I forgot grass disappears in the winter. Come on, Pox, get your priorities straight. Also, Sharky asked about the coop, so I said he'd see what it's for soon enough. Just to be extra devious. I tried to pop into Marnie's to get supplies, but lo and behold, she wasn't working. I mean, why would she? So instead I circled around to Robin's for a stack of stone and wood, then to Clint's for more copper and iron to smelt away over the next couple of days. I then cleared up the oak tree farm since any still growing trees actually won't grow in the winter. Once that was taken care of, I was lucky to pop into the greenhouse because I almost missed out on another strawberry harvest. And I added them to the jam juice chest, all before hitting the hay after a very successful first day of winter. I spent a lot of day 85 ripping up my crop area. I'm in no need of it anymore and it'd be nice to have the space back. To do what exactly? Make a sub to Poxial sign, of course. Wow. This took up the whole day. And for that I think you should do what the sign says, because I take time out of my busy competition schedule to do this. And totally not because I had nothing to do. See, even Sharky agrees, and he's my sworn rival. After praising my beautiful sign once more, I began day 86 swapping out another batch of pickled pumpkins with more pumpkins, and shoving them into the shipping bin. Then it was back to Marnie's. She finally decided to run her business today, so I swarmed my coop with a whole brood of chickens. Now that is a lot of chickens, and I was a very happy man. Day 87 was a simple day. I said good morning to my chicks in the coop, collected oak resin from the oak trees, and added a few more kegs to the juice shed right after collecting another batch of pumpkin juice. And of course had to top them off again with even more pumpkins. I bought some hay from Marnie's to put into the silo so my chickens didn't go hungry. Then I splashed some cash around getting steel upgrades on all of my tools from Clint's, because why the hell not? The splashing didn't stop there, however. I also got myself the iridium rod too, because why the hell not? I ended up using it for the rest of the day outside on the pier, because why the hell? It was time for the 3000th strawberry harvest this morning, and after picking some more peaches from my peach trees and putting both strawberries and peaches away nicely in the chest, I headed into town. I passed by Pierre's to purchase the final backpack upgrade. Say it with me now, because why the hell not? Why the hell not? And then I was back to fishing, which sums up how I spent the rest of the day. My chicks had grown up on day 89. Aww. They grow up so fast, it's so hard being a loving parent. Eggs were the key to my devious plan, but for now I'll leave them somewhere safe. Anyway, more pickled pumpkins were awaiting collection this morning. I returned to preserving strawberries today as I wanted to save the last remaining pumpkins for the kegs. I had to keep an eye on the days we had left and make sure that I didn't keg or preserve anything that wouldn't be ready until past the 100-day mark. There's not much to do in winter, and the only other money maker is fishing, and you bet your sweet tushies I was fighting until the very end. This mindset continued right on to day 90. Today started with fishing and ended with fishing. It's as plain and simple as that. Day 91, I was happy to see that another batch of juice was ready to collect, and I could squeeze in another week of fermenting strawberries, so I went for it. I know, a couple of days ago I said that I was saving the pumpkins for pumpkin juice, but preserving them was faster and it worked out more profitable this way anyway. Nobody confirm nor deny that because I think I was just panicking. Safe to say, I was overfishing, so I headed down into the mines for the day in hopes of reaching the bottom. I was making slow progress, but all of a sudden Sharky popped into the mix and suddenly we were zooming through each level. Through the power of friendship, we bonded together and made it all the way down to level 115. And we ran home together like a couple of besties playing Stardew for the heck of it. Also, I got level 6 foraging tonight, which just goes to show you how unrealistic that tree fertilizer plan was. Day 92 was a stark reminder that friendship was a lie, and the battle was still raging on. Okay, well that's a bit intense, but I had to pick my strawberries this morning from my side of the greenhouse, so that was a little reminder that we were still competing. Soon after, I got to collect another round of jam and replace it with the last of the pumpkins and the rest with strawberries. And after dumping the jam into my shipping bin, I was back to the mines to finish the job. But friendship overpowers all, and Sharky was back to help me finish the journey to the bottom. This was very unnecessary, but also very wholesome. I'll be honest, day 93 was a bit of a nothing day. I tended to my chickens in the morning, then just spent the whole day fishing. Sometimes the grind requires sacrifice, and that's exactly what I was here to do. However, when I got back home that night, Sharky asked me where my coop was. I said it was up here, but he just went to bed. How rude. I'll admit it was pretty close to 2 AM last night, so the next morning he actually told me it looked like a shed to him in the dark, so I can understand that. In any case, I had more oak resin waiting for collection this morning, but I didn't have any use for it now because we were close to the end and wouldn't be making any more kegs. That afternoon, I bought a few more salads from Gus's and went back to fishing. This time in the river so I could catch the winter legendary fish, the glacier fish. Just for a bit of extra gold. And fun fact, I passed 100,000 steps taken that night. Just thought you'd like to know. Just before bed though, I traded the pickled pumpkins and jam for peaches and strawberries. I was really scraping the bottom of the barrel now, but with only a few days left, I gotta make the most of them. Speaking of making the most of final days, day 95 I was straight back to the pier on that fishing grind. From the early hours of the morning to the final moments of the day I was fishing. But not too dedicated to pass out. It was time to enact my devious little plan on day 96. I took all the eggs I had collected, loaded them into a slingshot, aimed, and fired on my target. My plan was to annoy Sharky and put him off his game. While he was in his shed, I pelted it with eggs, and then I ran away like the little prankster that I am. But then all of a sudden, Sharky escalated the situation from 0 to 100 by threatening the sub to Poxial sign with a bomb! Yet despite this, I kept slingshotting eggs at him. I think it worked though, and we eventually came to an agreement to let bygones be bygones. As for the productive things that happened today, well, I picked some strawberries, opened the secret woods and chopped stumps, and I tried to block Sharky at the saloon, until Shane knocked a fence down.
Oh my god.
Okay, well maybe this isn't too productive, but I won't lie, it was pretty funny when he came out. We then had a conversation about buying and reselling products. We both agreed that we could buy things and resell them back for a profit, because at the end of the day, it's whoever makes the most money overall, not who has the most money in their pocket. So after another round of jam swapping for more jam to be made in the jam shed, what did I decide to do with this sudden information? I made a buttload of furnaces and smelted gold for a profit. Looking back on it, what a stupid thing to do, but at the time it was a gut feeling and I had to stick with it. I thought if I thought of anything else I probably just wouldn't have the time to see it through. On a better note, I collected my final batch of wine from the juice shed, but yeah, I just kept on smelting gold. Even Sharky had an opinion and that's not what I need right now, thank you very much. Day 98, I continued to smelt gold like a buffoon and made a start on stripping the farm back to an empty shell, in hopes that I could sell off a few things for any extra cash. And yes, the sub to Poxial sign had to go, I'm afraid. I kept at this all day long and finished clearing it out that night, so I dumped anything and everything I could into the shipping bin. Then the juice shed was the last thing to take care of before bedtime. Day 99, I sold off my chickens. It was sad to see them go, but like everything else, their use was at its end. I tried to enter the Adventurers Guild to try and sell off some gear, but I couldn't even get in. So I went back to the farm to smelt the remaining gold I had left. To put myself in a better mood, I bought a candy cane from the night market down on the beach and put it by Sharky's mailbox. No matter what happens, at least I won the hearts of all of you watching. Right? And here we are, I cannot believe it, on day 100. I did have one last strawberry harvest left to pick along with some peaches, which I put into the shipping bin. With not a lot left to do, I tore down all of the oak trees that worked so hard to supply part of my quest for keg domination. I didn't get as many kegs as I hoped I would, but I'm grateful for the ones I did have. I took Stella on one last ride around the farm, showing her where the heat of competition had taken place. But with that, the final day was at its end, and the only thing left to do now was to crown a winner. I don't know about you, but I am nervous.
Oh god, man, I'm nervous now. This is it. It's all come down to this. What kind of should we go by season? So like spring, summer, fall, winter, kind of what I did first in spring.
Let's talk your point of view, Sharky. Talk me through your strategies.
I mean, I noticed anyway from the start that we were very, very similar. So what I'm about to talk about, I'm pretty sure you did the same thing. I used the money to get more parsnips straight away, planted the parsnips, and I wanted to get as many potatoes as possible. And then using the money from the potatoes to go to the spring festival to get strawberries, because I knew that placing them in the greenhouse was going to be great profit all year round. and you was quite quick off the mark with the sprinklers as well. My original plan was to go and gather the ore and create the sprinklers myself, so I didn't have to spend money on them. But I know that was going to be quite long and grinding, especially when I saw your sprinklers coming in fast. I knew that I had to buy them myself, so I started buying them like you did. And then towards the end of spring, I was actually starting to already craft preserve jars. I was filling them out in the house and making strawberry jelly. Yes, and then yeah, when we got into summer, it was the same thing. I wanted to go with melons. I wanted melon wine. But yeah, talk to me about your spring and summer. Like,
It was very similar, to be honest, very similar. I think a lot of my money came from fishing. There was a point, like over the last half of spring, I was just doing the same day over and over again. It was like Groundhog Day, where I would go out, I would fish, try and make 3,000 gold, I'd ship it away, and then I'd go out the next day, buy a sprinkler, bring it back, and then I'd go out and do it again. I knew that crops were going to be the way to go. There was a moment where I popped into your house and I saw the preserve jars and I was like, oh man, I'm behind. But honestly, my strategies were very similar to yours. It was like a lot of blueberries, a lot of melons, and then like going into fall was just pumpkins galore.
every season I was always interested, like, I wonder what crops Pox is going to go with, because obviously a lot of people are different, especially in fall. Like, you could either have gone down the pumpkin route, the cranberry route, like, you know what I mean? But every crop that I chose, you seem to have went with as well. Like, no one really went for crazy. I did get some cranberries, but no one really pumped them out. The same with the blueberries, right? We had similar tactics, but I think you finessed it way better than me. Like, even from the start, like, your greenhouse looked better. It was, you got it up and running faster. And it was the same with everything. You got the crops in faster. Your layout looked nicer. It was way more efficient. So even though our tactics was similar, I feel like you finessed it more. So that's, I think it might come down to that in the end. This is it. Right. I'm going to resume.
I'm so scared. I'm so nervous. Alright, I'm gonna go. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. I have made, in total, 2,103,993 gold.
Oh, that's a lot of money, man. You made 2.1 milli. That's not bad going in 100 days, right?
That is not too bad. That is not too bad. That is a pretty good effort.
Okay, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Oh! Are you ready, Pox? This is what I earned. 3, 2, 1.
Oh my god! 3.6 million!
And do you want to know? Do you want me to tell you what that? Yeah, but do you want to? I bet I know what that is. And do you want me to tell you what that would have been?
What is it?
It would have been these last few days of winter. Do you remember when we had that chat where I wanted to just confirm that if we could spend our money on something and resell it, would that be too far, or is that like acceptable? And we both agreed that we could do that, right?
Yes. Yep.
With that information, what did you do? What was your tactic when we found out we could spend our money, buy something, then resell it to get the earnings up?
Like, my first instinct, and the instinct that I went with, was just to smelt gold, was to go to Clint's, buy a whole lot of gold ore and just smelt it.
So what I was doing, and the reason why I thought this is why I had to ask, I went to Gus's. I noticed you can buy beer for 400 gold, but you can sell a beer for 280 gold. I had 500k sat in the bank, and I was like, what shall I do with this money? I went to Gus's just to buy some recipes, some salads and food, and I bought some beer, and I was like, I can sell this for 280, so I spent $500,000 on beer. It was like 2 stacks of beer, and I resold it for like 300k, something like that. And I did that for the last 3 days. And then with that 300k that I had, I bought another beer, sold it again for like 150. And that's what I did for the last few days, trying to use up the money that I had.
300k. Oh my god, that's so smart.
Yeah, really, really pleased. Really good, man. Maybe one day we'll do something different. We'll do another 100-day video, but something a little bit different. Maybe we can sort something out one day.
I mean, hey, if people want to say it. If people want to say it. It's actually crazy that we even got here with how many like mods mucking up and like the fun, like, you know, mods going wrong. And
to be honest, we thought, can you remember when we got to the first of summer and we got that glitch where we couldn't leave the farm? I really thought at that point it was over. Like, we couldn't figure it out for the life of us. Like, something was crashing our game every time we tried to leave. And that's why obviously we had to change the layout and just go back to the default. But I'm glad it managed to work out.
I'm back, and this time, it's personal. That's right, Sharky and I are back to battle it out in round 2 of this competitive Stardew saga. And this time around, it's a whole lot crazier. Similar to the board game Risk, Sharky and I have this whole farm full of territories to fight for. We begin here in the starter area, battling it out for 7 days, fighting for resources, scavenging for forageables, and getting in each other's way before we can verse each other in a game of chance. Whoever catches the largest fish in the fishing minigame gets to spin the wheel of land first. When we get the plot of land given to us by the wheel, we can begin to divide and conquer across our given territories. Plots of land are given out 3 times a season until all 14 lands are in our possession, and each territory has its own unique advantages, as you'll soon find out. This time around, we're not fighting for just money either. The list of challenges to win is long. In fact, there's 10 separate challenges that will determine this video's winner. The person who wins the most challenges at the end of one whole year will be crowned the winner. But it's all gotta start somewhere, so here we are on the first day of competition. Waiting for the game to unpause this time around was nowhere near as nerve-wracking. If you remember at the end of the last round, Sharky came out on top and I walked away with nothing. But this time would be different. And before I knew it, I was let loose into the starter land. For this challenge, both Sharky and I start with nothing. No money, no parsnip seeds, all we have to work off is the land in front of us. There is a lot to cover in terms of rules and mods and what we can and can't do in this competitive hustle, so I will try my best to highlight them as we go. But for now, we seem to both have the same idea as we raced around scything down weeds for mixed seeds and picking up any forage that we could get our desperate little hands on. The fight for mixed seeds got a little personal as the day drew on and the weeds were starting to dry up, but despite that, I managed to claw my way to 33 mixed seeds, which I got to plant down as the first day was coming to an end. You'll notice the mixed seeds now give a whole range of seeds, including some that aren't in vanilla Stardew, thanks to a couple of mods that Sharky added. And oh my god, thank you so much for doing so, Sharky, because I was shocked to see them yield an ancient fruit seed. Sharky asked if I had gotten anything good from the seeds. And let's be real, I couldn't resist being a little cheeky. With a fantastic first day behind me, the grind continued to day 2, where I began the day watering all of my mixed seeds. A lot of the day was spent chopping down trees and gathering wood. Sharky and I stayed respectively distant from each other today, which is surprising considering the tussle yesterday for mixed seeds. I'm cautious of what that sneaky shark is capable of. I should note that a rule for this challenge is we cannot leave the farm, since it's so big. So how do we purchase things, you may ask? Good question. Well, it's with this, the Shop Anywhere mod, where we can access every vendor's inventory. And clearly I was tossing up buying a fishing rod, but with no gold to my name, it wasn't looking too likely. So with no energy left and no forage to replenish more, I ran into Sharky gathering stone as I searched desperately for more forage, which about sums up how the rest of my night went. The next morning began about the same, watering all of my mixed seeds. However, thanks to my wood and sap I sold last night, I had made just enough gold to purchase the bamboo rod from Willie. And as I cast my rod into the nearby river, I heard the faint sound of gold ringing in my ear. Because everything I do over the next year is crucial to winning this round. For example, fishing is not only getting me more gold, it's also increasing my fishing level and ticking off different types of fish caught. All things that are important to winning some of these challenges. Not to mention that further along in the year, I'll start to get artifacts from treasure chests. So you can see why everything I do is so important. But I'm getting ahead of myself. For now, that's how I spent my day. I picked a single spring onion on day 4, and actually 1 spinach. I could complain, but I literally started with no gold to my name, so I can't really do that. I did try a few alternative fishing spots around the edge of the starter land to see if it affected the quality of my catches. See, I'm always looking for a leg up in this competition. Unfortunately, it didn't really matter, so I got comfy by the river, and then tried again casting into the lower river area. Again, it didn't change anything, but I'd already committed to it, so I thought I might as well stay. With the sun well gone by now in the dead of night, I caught a Joja Cola, very important for one of the 10 challenges we're fighting for. So up in the cabin, I put it safely away in my artifact / Joja Cola chest with the one I caught yesterday. Crops were ripe for picking on day 5. I was blessed with a single parsnip and 4 whole garlic. Beside my mixed seeds, I cleared out a space of land so I could make a start on a secondary crop field. Thanks to my fishing, I had accumulated a reasonable amount of gold, enough to plant down 25 kale seeds. I chose kale because it doesn't take too long to grow, it gives okay profits, but it gives a bunch of farming XP, which is important to my long-term goals. So while I wait for that to grow, I hit up the river to fish for more fish. Speaking of fish, Sharky had got his hands on a fishing rod and had come to join me. Just two guys hanging out, fishing away peacefully. I could almost imagine the thought of rivalry melting away, but it's not. This is a competition and I'm gonna win, damn it. No crops were ready for harvest the following day, but I still had a lot of watering to do. Soon after, I purchased some potato seeds from the Shop Anywhere page, which is such a convenience, by the way. I think I might just have this mod installed every time I play Stardew from now on. Either way, it did mean more crop watering, but my crop fields looked a lot bigger than Sharky's did, and that's what really matters. Size does matter. What did I do to make use of the day ahead of me? Well, I fished, of course. I even fished up another Joja Cola. My mixed seeds have yielded 1 potato, 1 tulip, and 1 lettuce this morning. How lovely. To make up for the lack of profit on my mixed seeds, I used the day once again to fish away my troubles. You'll notice that I kept the fish from yesterday so that I could make use of the level 5 fishing perk, which increases the selling price of fish. See, I'm not just a pretty face. Before bed that night, I dumped another Joja Cola into the chest in the farmhouse and hit the hay before it got too late. Now, day 8 is a very special day because it's the first land decider day. Normally, I'd cut away to Sharky and I chatting away, you know, with that classic Kiwi British banter that we all know and love. However, silly me didn't record it properly and you're stuck with me now. I know you're mad, just please don't be upset with me. You can take your frustrations out on Recording Poxial by sending a passive-aggressive email to recordingpox@luckyringinc.com. As stated previously, both Sharky and I took our places at the fishing minigame and we cast out into the river. Sharky was the first to reel in his fish, coming in at a whopping 15 inches. I had a high target to beat, and in devastating fashion, the one I caught was an inch shorter. So that meant Sharky was now 1 up on me towards the fishing minigame's 1 challenge, and that meant he had the first spin of the wheel. Sharky landed on land number 12, a small mahogany tree forest to the south. Then it was my turn to spin the wheel and I managed to land on number 7, a massive plot of beach very central around the rest of the farm. And what a steal this bit of land was. The perks of this huge beach are beach forageables, washed up crates, loads of resources, and most important of all, access to ocean fish. To start my claim of the land, I popped down a tent, which Sharky and I both have 1 of, so we don't have to go back home all the time. Also, there are teleporters around the map, so we don't have to walk everywhere. Again, this farm map is ginormous. I continued to scavenge this new plot of land for all its resources, and the more I ventured around, the more grateful I was that I actually didn't win that fishing minigame. Later that night, while clearing out debris, I came across something magical. Something so incredible I couldn't believe my eyes. Mini obelisks. There's something special to each plot of land, and this was number 7's something special. I quickly made my way back to the cabin to set it up to send me straight back to the tent for easy access, and I was a happy man. I still had responsibilities back at the cabin, those being crops to harvest from my mixed seeds and watering a bunch of kale and potato seeds. To add on more responsibility, I declared the first use of my new land to more kale. Sure, it's more watering, but if it means beating Sharky, then I am willing to do it. But I'm a fisherman at heart, and being so close to the open ocean meant the fish I catch now are quality fish. More profit, new fish to add to the fishing collection, grinding more skill levels. Life couldn't get any better. And despite being such a big map, Sharky and I are still somewhat neighbours. After another morning of watering crops, the next day was spent grinding away back down at the beach, fishing all day for those sweet profits and fishing skill levels. But if I'm going to be fishing like this all day every day, then I'm gonna need a rod that can handle the workload. So I made an investment with Willie and bought myself the fiberglass rod. With the ability to hold bait, I'll be an unstoppable fisherman machine. My kale was finally ready for harvest, and it felt good to finally be able to reap some farming rewards. Shortly after, after, Sharky popped over, and from the kindness of his heart, he watered a single potato. The thought to just run away for the gag did cross my mind, but I couldn't bring myself to do it. I returned the favor to Sharky, and as usual, we shared a very wholesome moment. After taking care of the kale planted on the beach, I returned to fishing as wholesome moments were over, and the grind was back on. My petite patch of potatoes were prime for picking on day 12. Sorry, I just thought that would sound cool. Truthfully, there wasn't much difference to today from yesterday. After watering the field of kale growing on the beach, I retired to the usual fishing spot for the day. I fished all the way from dusk till dawn and even a few hours past that. Before bed that night, I came across Sharky on the starter land hoeing dirt. I was a bit confused and I had a slight panic that he was somehow going to plant a bunch of crops. But hey, I guess I'll just leave him to it. It was coffee beans galore this morning, plus one cauliflower and a single strawberry means that I'm that much closer to victory. After watering the field of kale on my beach plot, I decided to ditch the fishing rod today for my other tools, so that I could spend some time hacking my way through the debris for more resources, since Sharky decided to hoover up all the stone on the starter land. I then chopped trees for wood back on the starter land, and using all the materials I had gathered, plus the gold from all that fishing I'd been doing, I commissioned my first coop. Quick sidetrack, we should have the instant build mod on, so this usually wouldn't happen, but I think I'd forgotten to install it. Anyway, yay, my first coop! To celebrate, I fished for the rest of the day to recuperate some of the gold I had just lost. And lucky me, I got a treasure chest from a treasure chest. Isn't that fun? I'm not shocked to say that that's exactly how the next day was spent either. So instead of watching the boring stuff, let me take you through Poxial's ultimate plan to annihilate Sharky and win this competition. My master plan involves quite a few points, so let's get right into it. I need an affordable and attainable way to make money, so my plan is to wrangle together a heap of coops so that I can house a bunch of ducks to create the most profitable duck mayo empire you have ever seen, which will also double as farming buildings built and triple as XP farming because picking eggs and penning ducks for some reason gives you farming XP, and quadruple because I'll still be making profits throughout winter. For shipping crops, the plan is to buy an iridium sprinkler from Krobus every Friday, as we have access to him from the Shop Anywhere screen, and plant a bunch of wheat to send those numbers skyrocketing. For artifacts, my plan is to open geodes, hoe dirt in the mines, and cross my fingers that we get a lot from fishing. For different types of fish, well, we'll just keep going as I am, being careful to tick off every fish I can each season. The Joja Colas are tricky, but as experience has told me that fishing on level 100 at the mines will turn out a lot of Joja Colas, as all you can really catch down there is trash. As for the rest, well, crafting is something I'll worry about later. The fishing minigames one are just luck, and cooking, truthfully, I couldn't be bothered cooking. And skill levels will just come as we play. And that, my friends, is Poxial's ultimate plan to annihilate Sharky and win this competition. Not only did I have more coffee beans to harvest this morning, but my beach kale was ready too. Hooray for farming levels and profit! The morning of day 15 was spent on the starter land, sending trees to the chopping block. I needed more wood so I could upgrade the coop to a big coop, as I found out the hard way that ducks can only be bred in big coops, cause they fancy like that. This continued into the afternoon until concluding that, yeah, I probably have enough. In no time at all, I was back on plot number 7 mining down all of the stone, and as a reward for all of my hard work today, the big coop was commissioned that night, and I welcomed my first few ducks to the Duck Mayo dynasty. I didn't want my duckies roaming free, so I spent some time the next morning setting up the small enclosure outside. Now, for those who thought I'd be back to fishing, you're wrong. I went to the mines for the first time today. The farm cave with a mine cart is located just below the starting area, and that's how we'll access the mines without leaving the farm. If you think I can take the mushrooms in here, then you're wrong. It's reserved for whoever owns plot 13. Thanks to Sharky, we already had a head start at the mines today. I was used to the lag from the last competition we had. Like I said last time, I had mastered the art of the lag, and it was no trouble for a guru like myself. I had also bought a wooden sword from the Adventurers Guild, which made combat a little more bearable. An important material I'm on the lookout for down here are earth crystals, because they are used to make mayo machines, and me and my duckies would be nothing without mayo machines. I called it quits that night before it got too late and ran out of there with a bunch of good stuff. We had an exciting way to start day 17, Land Decider Day. I did record it right, so let me pass it over to other Poxial. Alright, hello.
Oh, hold on, I've got to clear my inventory. I've got no room. Let's. I'm going to start recording this now.
Round 2.
Round 2, yes.
And you are 1 up on me. You are 1-0.
Yep. So these fishing games, they're quite important. Not only to get to spin the wheel first for the big, well, to try and get a bigger land and a better land, but also to go towards the challenge that we're doing.
Yeah, they do.
Whoever wins the most of these, and I'm 1 up. It's 1-0 right now. Can I make it 2 back to back? That'd be a great start.
Surely not. Surely not.
Right, let's catch the fish first then.
Here we go.
3, 2, 1, go.
And let's see. Far this time. I didn't go too far.
The first fish, keep it above your head.
This is me. Come on. Come on. Perfect catch too. Come on.
Oh, God.
15. Come on, Sharky, hurry this up.
Oh my God. Green algae.
You gotta be kidding me.
It's a smallmouth. Yes!
You've got to be joking.
2-0.
You've got to be joking.
Can you believe that?
I actually cannot believe that. By 1.
That means I get to spin the wheel, of course, first game. Last time it didn't really benefit me. No. It's only towards the challenge, really.
Say, do you want to share your screen so I can see it?
1-14. Come on.
I'm watching 1.
Oh, round. It's not going to be number 14 or 1. It's going to be 11. This is a joke. This is a joke. The 2 smallest islands, and I've got them both. No. And now it's your turn, my friend. If you get 1-14, I'm done. I'll be so done. Let's give it a shuffle.
Come on, 1-14, just for spite, just out of spite. Come on.
Ready? 3,
come on,
2,
Will.
1, go. Please, don't.
Come on,
not 1-14. Anything, just that.
1-14, just out of spite, because it's funny.
It's not going to be. It's not going to be. Number 5, it seems.
Number 5.
That's another decent one.
Ooh. That's another
So the best thing.
So, despite losing my second fishing minigame, I think I came away with the better land yet again. After popping down my first couple of Mayo machines, I could afford to add 2 more ducks to the coop before I ran dry of gold. And then I explored my new land. Being right next door to my first land was super convenient. Not only that, but plot number 5 gives me access to lake fish, which is going to be a huge leg up in the fishing challenge. As I explored, I made sure to reap all the rewards this new land had to offer. And later that evening, I realized that it was the first time that it had rained all competition. So I raced back to the river to catch a catfish and a shad, and of course finished off the day doing the same down on the beach. The sun was back out today. I gave my ducklings a merry good morning before filling up the very same coop with the final couple of ducks. I guess you could say I've got them all in a row. Sorry, that was pretty bad. As the afternoon rolled around, I found myself rejigging things a bit. Yes, my ducks did roam free, think of it as their one day of freedom. Really, I just wanted to make the fencing bigger. See, I am looking after them. Afterwards, I returned to my new plot of land to fish away for some lake fish. Just in case Sharky gets the land above this one, I want to be as far ahead of him as I can be. 2 things happened the following day. In the morning, I did a bit of debris clearing, and in the afternoon, I scoured the mines for materials. Highlights include finding this massive cluster of copper, my first artifact, and another earth crystal. Look, some days are just less exciting than others. Speaking of less exciting days, day 20 was just as riveting, and I got back to the thrilling world of hardcore fishing, where the grind never stops and you try really hard not to fall asleep. I just have to remind myself that all this fishing is going to be worth it in the long run, and that I won't have to fish for gold much longer. In happier news, since stumbling upon that artifact yesterday in the mines, I can now find artifacts in treasure chests. So now I have even more reason to fish. Isn't that just so incredibly fortunate? Duck eggs! My very first duck eggs have been laid. A momentous occasion for our duck mayo dynasty. With one coop now filled with ducks, I thought it time to expand my empire with another. But in order to do so, I had to collect the resources. And truthfully, that is what I did for the majority of the day. Early into the afternoon, however, I did get to construct a second coop right next to the first one. And I could almost hear Sharky in the distance scream out in anguish. Because you see how 3 duck mayo can be sold for about 1.1k gold? Okay, now imagine the artisan perk plus like 80 ducks. You see what I mean? Apart from dealing with all thing ducks this morning, I worked out that while yes it is good to have materials, that's nothing without the gold to buy a big coop. So in order to make that kind of moolah, I'd have to go back to the old faithful moneymaker. And yes, I fished the whole day. That evening, as I was peacefully fishing away to the tunes of Taylor Swift, I saw Sharky had constructed a coop, and on his new land no less. I could be concerned, but I don't think he has Duck Dynasty on his to-do list. As for day 23, well, after taking care of more ducky business, I spent most of the day down in the mines, not trying to progress any further. Oh no. I'm switching between levels in hopes of finding more earth crystals for mayo machines, of which I found one, which I will admit is better than none. At least I got to turn my bug meat into bait for more fishing. The first thing I did this morning was hide my mini obelisk behind the tent. An odd thing to do, sure, but last night I saw that cheeky son of a shark use my own mini obelisk to get himself home. It probably won't stop him again, but I'm hoping he takes a while to find it hidden here. As for me, well, I think you can guess where I spent the day. A prize pool of eggs were awaiting for me in the coop the following day, and dumping them into the mayo machines was becoming a daily occurrence for me. You see, ducks lay eggs every 2 days, so I'll be sure to keep on top of mayo making every single morning to make sure I get all the eggs. A big coop upgrade was next on the Pox schedule. I am here to create the greatest duck mayo empire anyone has ever seen, so one measly coop was not gonna cut it. So after some hard manual labor clearing debris on the beach plot for materials, I swapped out the tools for my trusty fishing rod to fish my way to enough gold for said big coop upgrade. I even fished up a couple of artifacts while I was at it too.
It's land deciding day.
Beautiful.
It's like a wheel of fortune or something. Like spin the wheel.
Spin the wheel. Decide your fate.
Hey, this is always an exciting day. I love it.
I know.
Which land are you most wanting? I mean, you're quite lucky because number 7 and 5 that you own are connected. You can walk straight through them, right?
Yeah, I can.
Oh, so if you get number 3 or 2, you could still do the same.
Yeah.
Because they've got stairs on them, ladders.
3, 2, or 9 is my ideal pick at the moment.
Let's do this, Pox. Let's go.
Okay.
Recording. Yeah. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Catch a fish. Training rod. Yeah.
Oh, I went too far again.
Too far ago. Come on, I've got one. Come on, please be good.
Oh, I've got one too.
17. That's good. That's decent. That's decent.
I need to pull a world record here.
Yeah, you've got to get the 18, which I've had a few times.
Oh my days. Unreal.
What, is that a 15?
That's 15.
It's just just can't see it on my screen.
Yeah, it's 15.
Oh, it's 3-0 down, Pox.
Unbelievable.
Right, so I've got to change my screen to the wheel.
Well, I wish you the best of luck, and I hope you get number 6.
Number 6, is that the worst one?
Maybe?
Oh no, it's not 6 and 8. I don't want beach. I need soil.
Alright.
Shuffle. Big spin. 3, 2, 1. Come on, Sharky.
Here we go.
Something good.
Come
please.
Come on.
Oh dear me. No. Oh no! Yes!
Oh my god, no way. I thought that was
that
it.
was
I thought you had number 6.
lucky.
Nice.
Oh, I'm buzzing. Right, let's see what you get. I'm intrigued.
All right.
I'm intrigued. Give it a few shuffles. Right, ready?
Come on, Will. Come
3,
on, Will.
2, 1. Don't give him number 1. Don't give him number 1. Anything but 1.
9 or 3 or 1, just to spite Sharky.
No. Oh, it's 14.
Go past.
Oh, that's the big one.
Yes, 14.
That's the big.
I like
And
that
I think
one.
that's tillable as well. Loads of space there,
Yes.
man. Loads.
That's exactly what I need. Yes, that does put me 0 to 3 on the fishing minigames, unfortunately. Sharky finally got a good plot of land, and I'm happy to say that so did I. With the new plots of land decided, I finally got that big coop upgrade I'd been talking about, and I returned once again to the mines in anticipation of another coop's worth of ducks. I don't think 4 mayo machines are gonna cut it. Earth crystals are pretty scarce to come by though, and I am finding that out the hard way, so I was chuffed to leave with another 2 in hand. It is the final day of spring here on day 27. If you are perceptive, then you'll notice that we started on the 2nd, that's why it's not day 28. I know, it annoys me too. Nonetheless, we had a new big coop to fill with ducky friends, and I got right to doing that. I made sure to welcome them all to my duck dynasty. Afterwards, I teleported myself over to the bottom right corner of the farm, where my brand new plot of land was. Awaiting me were a few spring onions, some bee houses, which I won't mind taking back home, and a whole field of land full of crop potential. However, with 9 gold to my name, I think that may have to come in due time. In the meantime, I finished off the last of spring how I pretty much spent the rest of it. Fishing. Summer is here, but there's no time to indulge in summertime activities. Instead, I added the final ducks to my second coop, dropped a couple of eggs into my mayo machines, and axed down my crops outside the cabin. As exciting as that ancient seed was, it's not gonna make me a rich man, so it had to go. As the afternoon rolled around, I found myself back out fishing on the edge of the beach, but in my head I justified that it was to catch new fish for the collection. So I guess that made it a teeny tiny less tedious. And boy am I glad I did, because after what felt like an eternity grinding away with the rod, we finally got our first skill to level 10. And would you believe it, that's what I continued to do the next day. I guess it's worth it though, because I got level 10 fishing, and having not sold my fish from yesterday meant I'd have some juicy earnings overnight. In the afternoon I switched it up a bit and caught a few river fish, for reasons both of sanity and fishing collection. A little later on I did the same with the lake fish on the edge of the farm. Intuitively, I even went to the mines to try my luck at a stonefish. I walked away home empty-handed. But hey, I can't be too bad after seeing all the gold I made. I'm sick of fishing, and to express this feeling I went to the edge of the beach and I fished. Wait a minute. Not for the whole day, thank goodness. Actually I did. I lied. I just switched it up to catch a stonefish. I was now cranking out duck mayo pretty consistently, so at least I had that to look forward to every morning. I cut down some trees that morning, and that was so I could reach level 5 foraging. In my head, I was hoping that getting the forager perk gatherer meant that I'd be able to double some of the eggs I pick up. Either way, back to fishing I went. Something other than fishing is happening today. Oh my god, it's a miracle! Down in plot 14, I was making space between the grass for my first load of wheat. Now that Operation Duck Dynasty was well underway, it was now time to implement the crop part of my plan, and planted down the first of what I hope to be many wheat harvests. If I aim to have enough gold to purchase a sprinkler from Krobus every Friday, then I can keep expanding the wheat growing all the way to the end of fall. Now with that in place, I dealt with more duck mayo making and ventured down into the mines, this time going a little further than the copper levels. I was in need of some iron, not to mention my artifact chest was filling up quite nicely. I was starting to enjoy this whole duck mayo making thing a little more every time I added more mayo machines or more ducks, because every time I'd make that just a little bit extra than last time. On the contrary, I got told off soon after this. Yes, you heard me right. I got told off. I didn't record it, but apparently the furnaces counted as building stuff, and we had a rule that we couldn't build on the starter land. I think his exact words were, "Pox, you can't do that, that's cheating, and you smell bad." Okay, well, maybe not that last part. I could move them right now, but I think I'll wait for my iron bars to be done. As for the rest of the day, I constructed my third coop next to the other two and chopped trees for wood. As night was falling upon us, I had the genius idea to craft some crab pots in order to catch crab pot fish.
I'm gonna do what's called a pro gamer move.
Day 34 was a simple day. I emptied and refilled my 2 crab pots, gathered my daily duck eggs, and dumped them into my mayo machines, and went about cutting down trees on my neighbouring beach plot for wood. Not to mention, I stumbled across a few banana trees in blossom. And well, yeah, that's about all I did today. First things first, I'm glad to have my copper pickaxe back in my position, and I got a farming level up from collecting eggs. How convenient. It was time to put this shiny new pickaxe to the test, and take it to the... No, Pox. No, not to the beach. Anywhere but the beach. Okay, so we're fishing again, but for good reason, I promise. It's raining and I need to catch a red snapper. I then popped over to plot 14 to harvest my first round of wheat before planting down the next lot. If you're wondering why I've set it up so far away, it's because I don't want Sharky to see and steal my idea. I did finally get time to take my copper pickaxe for a spin in the mines, and I did so for the rest of the day.
Here he is.
Righty.
It is a big day, my friend.
You're telling me.
So, of course, it's a land decider day, which is big.
It is.
But this is make or break for you already on one of the challenges, Pox, because if you lose this fishing game, I have basically won that challenge because you can't come back from that. So that's going to be 1-0 to me.
Yeah, tell me about it.
It's a big day. It's a big day. So let's get to it. Let's get into position ready. So let's get this fish over and done with first before we move on to the land, of course.
All right, let's do it.
But yeah, let's see if I can actually tick this off. Can we finish a challenge already? Let's go. 3, 2, 1. Catch a fish.
All right. Okay. Trying to catch me,
Why
huh?
is he doing that? Hold on. Oh,
There
there
you
we
go.
That was strange.
There you go. All right. I'm hooked.
Oh, okay, we can
I'm
get
hooked.
a bike. Come on.
I'm not touching it. 26.
26 inch.
That's
okay,
pretty
okay,
huge.
okay.
That's pretty huge.
Here we go.
All
I'm
right,
in.
here we go.
I'm in.
Oh, this is make or break. Come on.
Yeah, if this is bigger than yours, you've basically failed that challenge already. Right, here it comes.
I can't see it.
31.
Oh my god, this is rigged.
31
This is
inches
rigged.
on my
We even
screen
swapped
there.
places.
Yeah, exactly. It's just the look of the draw. I think we had the same rod.
Unbelievable.
I'm pretty sure you're probably a way higher fishing skill than me as well. but
Unbelievable.
There we go. 4-0, by
That's
the way.
unreal.
Right, are you ready?
I'm ready. Let's get some more land.
Let's see. I'm going to bring up the lands. 3, 2, 1, boom. Give me number 1 or number 2 and 3. Oh, do I have number 3? No, it's going to be 10. It's going to be 10. It's going to be 10.
Ooh,
I got the
the
massive
quarry.
quarry.
That's an interesting one.
Right, this is Pox's turn. Let's see what number you get. Which one are you after
One.
the most? Like for
One,
you right
just
now.
to spite you.
You just want that big forest.
I just want it because you want it.
But is there any that you need though?
I mean, I definitely have some ideas for it.
Yeah, okay. Please don't be number 1 then. Let's go.
Come on, number 1. Come on, number 1.
This is the big
Oh,
one.
it's right past it.
He's
It's
just
right
dodged number
past it.
1. Oh, you got my next best one.
3. 13?
Oh no?
Ooh.
What's
That's
that?
13.
Oh, you got the farm
That means I get the
cave.
mushrooms. Ooh.
You get the mushrooms now. Yes, they are yours. And
Interesting.
good land for crops, good trees, and yeah, you own the farm cave. It's all yours.
So, yeah. 0 and 4 on the fishing minigames meant that I've already taken the L on one of the 10 challenges. But hey, we love an underdog story. With another land decider behind us, I carried on with my day, dealing with all things duck, gathering a bunch of stone, constructing another big coop upgrade, collecting my mushrooms now that I owned plot 13, and continuing my adventure down in the mines. At this point in time, I was slowly making my way down to level 100 to start the Joja Cola collecting. You know, since we're not even halfway through the year and I was already losing. But it's a brand new day, and with that brings brand new opportunities. And after dealing with a few minor chores around my mini lands, I was back to the mine grind for the day. There isn't anything too exciting to report, although when I eventually made it down to level 60, I did stop and catch an ice pip. I started my day purchasing a few ducks for my big coop on day 38, and due to Sharky's tent placement, I'm able to catch a sneaky glimpse at his base of operations every time I buy a duck. Very fascinating. Shortly after, I paid a visit to my crop of wheat, scythed it down, and replaced it with another lot of seeds, all before popping off to the mines again. I didn't get very far until I saw that Sharky had asked me if I could buy blueberries. I had a quick check and I saw that I couldn't. Turns out we both couldn't, but I don't think either of us were too worried about blueberries, so that wasn't too big of a deal. Either way, back to scaling my way down the mines I went and slamming bats with my club. The rain was pouring and the thunder was roaring on day 39. Being a Friday meant that Krobus had an iridium sprinkler for me, and it didn't take me long to take that right off him. And right next to my first small field of wheat is where I set up the second one. With that taken care of, I grabbed a stack of geodes I had been gathering out of my chests and tried my luck opening them with Clint. These geodes have a small chance to produce an earth crystal. With a 1 in 16 chance, you'd think with 36 geodes I'd get at least 1 or 2, right? I got 0. But wait, I have 5 more, and would you look at that, a single earth crystal. Yay! Totally worth it. That was a lot of excitement for one day, so to wrap it all up, I fished out into the ocean until it was sleepy times. Once again, the following day started with filling the rest of my big coop with ducks. The rest of it was taken up with more adventures down in the mines. And we made some considerable progress today. It didn't take me long to reach level 70. I flew through the frozen castle levels, and before I knew it, I was grabbing my new pair of boots from level 80. All that much closer to level 100. It wasn't hard to miss the growth of my duck battalion this morning. Just look at them all. Mayo production was now in full swing, and I was loving every second of it. It was unsurprising to see me back in the mines that afternoon. I clawed my way down another 10 levels today before I got too late, but at least I got the obsidian edge sword for my efforts. Level 100 was in sight, but I couldn't forget about the wheat harvest waiting for me. That's the thing with this challenge, there are so many challenges to win that you really just can't hyperfixate on one thing. Otherwise you'll risk losing out on everything else. But at least it keeps it funky and fresh. I actually took a quick break from the mines today so I could catch up on more pressing matters, such as gathering wood from my field of tree stumps and moving crab pots to a fresh water spot to catch different crab pot fish. But that break didn't last for long. I yearned for the mines, and I heard it calling for me. And I think some of the dust has gotten to my head. Ah well, I finished on level 95. I made my very first scarecrow today. As a veteran Stardew Valley player who is 43 days into a competition, I find this very embarrassing. Not so embarrassing, however, is not only constructing a coop, but getting a double whammy all in one and getting the big coop upgrade right after that. Sharky must be quaking in his boots at this very second. Then it was once again back to the mines, picking my mushrooms on the way through as always. In the very late hours of the morning, I scathed my way onto floor 100 and immediately got the heck out of there. It was a mad dash for bed, but I made it in the nick of time. Just like every day that's passed, I gave my duckies a merry good morning and sorted the eggs into my ever-growing collection of mayo machines. And having made it, finally, to level 100 in the mines, it only felt right to spend the day trash fishing for Jojo Colas. You may notice that I haven't opened the Star Drop chest yet, and I think this is probably the smartest idea I've had yet, because when you get the Star Drop, it usually puts a message in the chat, and I want Sharky to be unaware of me being down here for as long as possible. Just in case he gets the same idea, I'll already be way ahead of him. To show you how effective this plan is, I got 7 Jojo Cola today trash fishing. In the 44 days previous, I had only gotten 5. I think that's a winning strategy right there.
Alright, so let's get straight into this then, shall we?
Absolutely.
Today is land decider day, straight off the bat, the 18th. Let's start off with the fishing minigame. Obviously, this doesn't really matter now, does it, for the challenge list? We decided that in the last one.
No, no need to remind me.
So painful. But we still need to do this to obviously decide who spins first. So let's go catch our first fish.
Let's do it.
3, 2, 1, go. Oh, perfect. I feel like this could be where you like get 3 in a row. You win all these. Just imagine.
I would be so upset. I really would.
Okay.
I haven't had a bite.
Oh no, oh my god.
8 inches.
It's a sunfish.
Oh,
if you catch a sunfish, and then it might be close, but if you get a pike, it's done. Do you reckon we should catch the same fish?
Ooh.
I don't know how that works.
No, let me have one.
Yeah, you deserve it.
Perfect catch.
It's got to be a pike. No?
Yes!
Oh yeah, you got it. 10 inches. She got one.
Yes, let's go. I finally won one.
This is going to be interesting for you to spin the wheel first this time.
I know, I've never done that.
So crazy.
Oh my gosh.
Is there any that you definitely want or need, or are you just happy to have any at this point?
Ooh, I want 3 to block you out of fishing.
Oh, you naughty boy. Let's spin the wheel.
Come on, number 3. Come on, number 3. Come on, number 3.
Oh, no. It can't be. Oh, number 1 and 3 together as well.
Oh my god, it's right past it.
Yes, that's good. That's
Okay,
good.
what's that? 6?
You got the small beach.
No!
Yes.
That's
Yes.
rubbish. Ah, no.
Oh, I didn't really want that one. I think I'm going to get the number 8. I've got a feeling. We're going to get the same. Ready? Let's go.
That would be pretty funny.
Come on.
Come on.
1 or 3. 1 or 3. Oh, it could happen. No, it's not good. Oh, it could be number 3. It could be number 3. Keep rolling. Keep rolling. No.
He called it. He called it.
No, we
Number
both
8.
got the little shocking beach one. Oh, no.
After losing 4 mini-games in a row, this game decided to finally hand me what feels like a very pity victory. On the other hand, we both got rubbish beach lands, leaving the bigger, potentially game-changing lands for the final land deciders. After finishing up the land deciding, I ran around the outskirts of my new small beach land, collecting up forage and all of the goodies waiting there for me. Then as the day passed into the afternoon, not a lot was happening above ground, so below it I went to do some more trash fishing for Joja Colas. Another day, another morning petting my duck legion and turning their duck eggs into duck mayo. Today was Friday, so I think you know what that means. With my wheat field expanded and planted, I collected up the crab pots from the freshwater location, as I had caught all the critters I needed to, all before making my way to the small pier at the edge of the map where I fished the rest of the day away. I cannot move on to the next day though without first showing you what I got from a treasure chest. A whole dinosaur egg. I popped it into one of my incubators at the coop, so that one day I'll have a little dino friend to make even more dino eggs. Thanks to selling fish and mayo, I had saved up enough gold to grow my duck army by another 7. I left one space open for when our little dino friend hatches. So day 47 I reserved for clearing out my new beach plot of all its debris. Truthfully, I don't need the space, but I do need the materials and I was slowly getting foraging and mining XP as I went along, so I thought it was worth it. That evening, however, it seems my level 100 ruse was up. It was bound to happen, but Sharky had found his way to the star drop. So as I finished up debris clearing for the night, I quickly detoured past the mines so that I too could get my star drop. I just have my fingers crossed he doesn't know about fishing for Joja Colas. Speaking of fishing for Joja Colas, that's what I did on day 48. Was I nervous about Sharky realizing I had made it to level 100? Yes. Did I overcompensate and spend all day there just in case? Absolutely yes. I was here from 9 till 9 and I returned to the surface with another 12 colas. Stay back from my wheat, you silly grass. Stay back, I say. I had another wheat harvest this morning, and I was happy to add another 72 crops to the crops harvested number. On top of that, I built my 5th coop, then immediately after that constructed it into a big coop. And let me tell you, that's always a good feeling. With the thought of more ducks on the way, I wanted a couple more mayo machines to meet customer demand. That customer being me. I am the customer. I opened a few geodes and surprisingly pulled an earth crystal, then dived down into the mines for the rest of the day where I managed to find a couple more. After placing down the 3 mayo machines the next morning, I once again set aside today for some good old-fashioned hard work, and I continued to make progress on the beach plot, collecting materials and slowly gaining some XP along the way. By the end of the night, it was finally all cleared, and I think I deserved a good night's sleep after all of that. The following morning started with a duck spending frenzy. I filled up my 5th coop with ducks, and truthfully, this isn't even the half of it. Rise up, my duck rebellion, quack until we turn that shark mad. Sorry, got a little carried away there. So to let off some steam, I circled back to level 100 in the mines to do some Joja Cola collecting for the rest of the day. In the dead of night, however, not a lot was said between Sharky and I, but a lot was still said. I spent a lot of day 52 making my way around the land of ducks, clearing out more debris to give me as much space to expand my duck empire as possible. I wish I could say more happened, but I can't. Well, it's another Friday, and we all know that means Krobus has another iridium sprinkler for us. And to the wheat field, I added another small extension, totaling 96 wheat in total. And with that taken care of, it was back to the mines to collect Joja Colas for the day. While meandering around my lands, the next day it was interesting to see a pond, a barn, and half a grown fruit tree on the edge of one of Sharky's lands. What are you up to, you sneaky little shark? Today I was back to the mines, not for Joja Cola collecting however, but rather to hoe dirt for a chance of artifacts. That was until Sharky and I had totally forgot it was... Alright, well we may be a little bit late here, but we remembered to do the landers. We almost
forgot, but we're here
That's
now.
all that matters. We showed up.
At least we're still on the same day. Imagine if we woke up tomorrow or like 3 days later. Like, we didn't do it.
Whoopsie. That's so funny.
Yeah, this time we'll stand together here again. It worked better last time. I could see your number.
Yeah.
Right, okay. Let's go.
Let's do it.
Get the fish.
Come on.
Big day today. Some big lands available. The last 4 remaining are probably the best 4. And I'm into a fish straight away. Come on, be decent. Last time I got a sunfish, it was tiny. Oh, it's a gain. Oh my, okay, it's done.
7.
It's done.
Okay, you never know, you never know. Alright, here we go.
I think you've got a rainbow trout here, which is going to be way bigger than a sunfish.
Come on. I don't know, it's feeling like a sunfish.
7 is so small. I've never caught one.
Oh, yeah.
This is literally, you're going to win 3 of these in a row.
I know. I think I am.
Is that the one you want? You want the 3 to stop me from the fish, don't you?
Yeah,
the mountain fish.
I do. That's what
Yeah,
I
because
need.
that's basically a challenge ticked off for you, so it makes sense for you to want number 3. Oh no, this is scary. Okay, come on, cross my fingers, please. This is going to be game over if you get this on that challenge. Let's go.
Come on.
Please, 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 please.
Come on.
Come on, not number 3.
Number three.
Okay, that's good. Okay, you've got the massive forest.
Stop it once, number 1. Yes.
Oh,
I'll take that.
God.
I will take that. Number 1.
Okay, well, here
1.
we go.
That's
I'm going to
pretty
spin
huge.
it again
Right.
for me. I need number 3 at this point just to make me feel better. So let's go. Come on, please, 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 please.
Come on, give him number 4. Give him number 4.
No, it's not number 3. It's going to be number 4. It's going to be the worst. This is horrible. That could not have got any worse.
Oh my god.
So, this is one of the smallest ones, but another good thing though, it's still kind of connected to your forest, but it's got mushroom trees on it, so there's still wood on there for me. I've got some wood.
I may not have won the fishing mini games challenge, but that lander cider wheel and I had something special between us. I thought I would leave the deforestation of plot number 1 for another day. Instead, I returned to the mines to continue artifact hunting. Day 55 was the final day of summer. It started just the same as every other day, petting my duckies and turning their eggs into that sweet profitable duck mayo. I then handed my axe over to Clint for a couple of days for a steel upgrade, and afterwards I stared into the red glow of the mine water as I fished up Joja Colas for the remainder of the day. Am I a little heartbroken that we didn't go to the moonlight jellies? Yes, I was devastated. My first day of fall kicked off with a wheat harvest, and while I thought I'd be planting more wheat, I ran into a problem. Remember when Sharky asked about blueberries not being for sale? Well, it turns out that fall's equivalent was wheat. I could not find it anywhere. So with no real other option, I had to bite the bullet and change my strategy slightly. Instead, I opted to plant some cranberries. At least cranberries can regrow, giving me more time for important things like trash fishing, and fishing, more fishing, even more fishing, lots of fishing. This is a bit cheeky, but I did a little snooping of my competitor later on, using the animal purchase screen to spy on him without him knowing. And that night, lots more fishing, and more fishing, even more fishing. Upon leaving the tent this morning, I finally received my steel axe back from Clint. But before I could go and use it, I had just enough gold and loads of materials to build a 6 coop and upgrade it to a big coop immediately after. At this point, I'm thinking a good target is 10 coops. Altogether, that housed 79 ducks and 1 dinosaur. But goals aside, I was low on funding, so that would have to wait. In the meantime, I fished around the different water types, catching a few new fish I needed for the fishing collection. With some time still left over, I took my axe to the grindstone and made a small start on plot number 1. My goal was to clear the whole plot of trees and debris, so that the materials could be used for future coops. And I was after those precious skill points. I welcomed my dino friend to the duck army on day 58. You may look a little different, but I will love you just the same. What I don't love is all these trees around the place. I think it's time for some heinous acts of deforestation. To my new coop, I added another 8 ducks the following morning, and I also built up a silo next to my coops, which I thought would be useful. Turns out it wasn't. What is useful, however, is trash fishing for more Joja colas. To give you a little update, today I managed to collect another 5 colas, which puts our total up to 50. I'll be honest, between mayo making, not a lot was happening the morning of day 60. For the most part, that was because I was looking around at what fish I still needed to catch now that it was raining. So that afternoon, I got right to it and caught a walleye from the lake. To round out the day, I found myself back in the forest tearing it down for those precious materials and XP. My cranberries were awaiting harvest this morning, and seeing that you can get multiple harvests of cranberries made me very glad I had to make the switch in crops. It was back to the grind afterwards. That forest was close to clear, but it still needed some work, and I'm glad to see my hard work paying off. After another morning of dealing with duck mayo, I headed back down into the mines to try my luck for an earth crystal or 2. To my shock horror, I walked away from the mines later that night with a total of 0. Stupid mines and stupid earth crystals. 1 out of 4 chances to get one from a dug in my ass. I didn't even want any more man machines anyway. Stupid. I don't even know why I keep doing this. When I got back home that night, I did some rearranging of my stuff, like moving all of my chests to the tent and carrying my mini obelisk down to the farm cave entrance, just for ease of access to the mines from my base of operations. In spite of not getting any earth crystals yesterday, I tried opening some geodes and, well, still got none. To make me feel better, I constructed a shipping bin outside of the tent for more ease of access, and I built up my 7th big coop. I'm a stubborn man though, so I tried my luck once again down in the mines for earth crystals. And I got one, and I hold that single crystal with pride, because if I don't, then I might start crying. But I can't be upset because it's...
Give me number 3.
So what's left? 3 and...
I think it's 9, if I'm right.
9, yes, you're right.
Yeah.
It is 3 and
The
9.
one above from you, the beach that connects.
Oh, yes, that's right.
But I can also get access to that one because there's some like little bridges. So either way, number 9 is good for us both to access. But for me to stay in the game, I just need them lake fish. That's literally all I want. First, let's just get straight started with this fishing minigame, shall we?
Let's do it.
Let's see who gets to spin first, I guess.
Ooh.
I don't really think it matters, but
No.
let's just do it. Since there's only 2 left, let's go.
Where was this luck before? You know what I'm saying?
I know. I had a feeling. I knew it was going to happen. Right. Of course it's going to be a smallmouth. Yeah. All the fish in here.
Ooh,
there is salmon.
15.
There is tiger trout. And it's gave me a smallmouth. So 15-inch. Doesn't matter what the fish is. It's just got to be bigger than 15.
Alright.
I'll get rid of mine because I know what it is already. Come on, 15. If it's a tiger trout, you've won straight away.
A salmon?
Oh, miles bigger.
Oh my goodness me.
Huge. But
That
look,
is
unlucky for you, Pox.
huge.
It just weren't enough. This luck that you've had, this free win streak on
No.
that, it's just not been enough.
It's just
I
been the
still win
wrong
that one.
timing. I wish I had this luck before.
Are you ready to spin, my friend?
I'm ready to spin. Let's do it.
It's 50-50, literally,
It is 50-50.
on this. And I just hope it's not number 3. I've got a 50% chance. Come on. That's got to be decent luck. Right, I'm going to wait for it to go right into the middle of that line. 3, 2,
Number
1,
3.
spin! Come on.
Come on, number 3.
Come on.
Come on, number 3.
Please,
Come
I'm not
on,
looking.
come on,
I'm not
come on,
looking. I can't look. I can't look. No!
Oh my god, stop. Oh my god, please don't go over. Yes!
Oh my god.
Yes!
It's done.
Oh my god,
Now,
I'm
do you know
so
what's
happy.
annoying? If I won that fishing challenge, I would have spammed that and that would have been for me.
Yeah.
Damn it. That's why it's important to actually win them fishing things.
Yes! Oh, I'm so happy.
That sucks. So here we go, the last one. Which one's it going to
Oh my
be?
gosh, Sharky, what's it gonna be? What's it gonna be?
Attention. Number 9. I mean, it's a
Number
great
9.
land, but I think the fishing one is going to be ticked off the list for me. There's no point even trying to go for those anymore. So there we go. That's it. It's done.
Number 3.
We've got
I wonder
all the
what's over
lands.
there. Yeah, that's it. It's all been divided out now.
That is absolutely wild.
Making up for losing 4 in a row, somehow I managed to land on number 3, which at this point I'm 99% sure shuts out Sharky from winning the fish collecting challenge. I won't take my chances, but I am feeling pretty confident. So after a triumphant final land decider, I spent the day saying hello to my duck battalion, making duck mayo, and for the third day in a row, looking for more of those ridiculously elusive earth crystals. I am happy to report that the hunt was much more successful. I left with 3 this time. I picked up my first naturally produced dino egg on day 65. I'll be sure to hold on to this one for the artifact challenge. Halfway through my morning duck petting routine, I had the sudden realization that it was still 6 o'clock in the morning. So I inquired about this with Sharky, and yeah, he just forgot to unpause time. So I guess we got a bit of bonus time. And with that bonus time, I filled up another coop with 8 more ducky pals. Afterwards, I manicured my cranberry fields by swiping back grass before circling up to the mines, where I trash fished the day away. We smashed the most Joja Colas in a day record too, 14 in one day! All the way down in the corner of the farm, my cranberry fields were awaiting harvest. Satisfying as always. It had been a few days since I had made any progress on my forest clearing, so I got to work, and I chopped all the way till bedtime. Just before the day ends though, as I fell asleep that night, I ticked off another level 10 skill tree. With the artisan perk now in my possession, my duck mayo just got a 40% increase in profit sales. However, my attention was now turning towards another challenge, the crafting challenge. I've done a pretty good job at hoarding a lot of resources over the last 67 days, but to increase the chance of winning the crafting challenge, I planted a few tree seeds, decorated it up a little bit because yeah, it's me, and covered them in fertilizer. Eventually, I'll tap them so I can get oak resin, maple syrup, and pine tar for a few crafting recipes later on. But for now, I'd have to pass the time down in the mines, searching the higher levels for copper for said tappers. Quick side note, I love the artisan perk. Rich beyond what any farmer could wish for, especially one named Sharky. I used my wealth to just purchase the materials for another big coop and constructed coop number 8. Unconvinced, I continued splashing money and bought the ducks to go with it. And I'd like to point out that even with all of this practical spending, I still had 28,000 gold left over. Safe to say my duck dynasty was paying back its dues. Soon after, I caught Sharky wandering past. He seemed infatuated with my duck army. I sent a compliment his way about his hat, and well, it's funny number day! And that's all there really is to say because not too much happened. I did clean up around the cranberry field, I snooped around Sharky's base to see what the cheeky bugger was up to, and I farmed for a few earth crystals. I got 2 today if you'd like to know. So, moving right along, I started day 70 adventuring around plot number 3, just to see what fruitful possessions awaited me. Turns out the things there were about as useful as that one time I held my dad's flashlight for him while he fixed the car. Not very useful at all. The bamboo trees weren't blooming, and neither were the tea leaves, so I ditched that pretty quickly and instead spent my time constructing my 9th big coop. As the night was falling, 8 more ducks were added on top of that, and I picked some olives from my olive trees on the other side of the farm. Just thought I should let you know that I have olive trees blooming this season. My cranberries were ripe for picking yet again this morning, still as satisfying as ever. I sorted my ducks out right after that before heading off to plot 1 for more tree felling. When I got there, however, I made the connection that the tree stumps respawn daily. On top of that, they actually give me 25 XP for every stump I chop. So I made a mental note to keep that in mind for foraging skill levels later on. I then turned my brain off to spend the rest of the day clearing more forest. Also, have I mentioned that I love the artisan perk? Because I love the artisan perk. The next day I began crafting those tappers I talked about a few days ago, because all of my trees were all finally growing up, and I need me some crafting materials. Then I circled back to plot 1 to chop down stumps for forage XP, then back home to shove a round of duck mayo into the mayo machines, then over to the mines to round out the day Joja Cola collecting. I may be overdoing the whole Joja Cola collecting, but I simply cannot take any chances. Just before bed I made a start on replacing the old wooden fences with hardwood fences. This continued into the following morning, and I took extra care not to let any of my ducks escape into the wilderness. I stuck around home base afterwards to further the coop lineage, constructing my 10th and final big coop, all before filling it with the last 8 ducks. Now with 10 big coops, 79 ducks and 1 dinosaur, I can proudly say my duck dynasty has achieved its full potential. Full of pride, I picked some olives from my olive trees and chopped stumps for forage XP before finding my way back to my tent, calling it a night, and most definitely dreaming about how awesome I am. On day 74, I managed to pull another foraging level thanks to my stump chopping, and trash fish for more Joja Colas. Honestly, that's about it. At least I can say the following day was a little more exciting. Having popped a monster musk thanks to the Shop Anywhere mod, I spent the day down in the deeper levels of the mine collecting all the goodies I could get my clammy little hands on, which quite frankly took up the whole day. After yet another cranberry harvest, it was all happening back at base. Mayo making, gold smelting. Okay, well that was about it. But afterwards I chopped stumps for more forage XP, made more duck mayo, picked olives, and searched for beach forage around my 3 islands. So it was all still happening, I swear. The paycheck I got that night was pretty spicy too. Once again, I was ticking things off on day 77, collecting pine tar, taking care of my duck dynasty, chopping stumps. So to break it up a bit, after many a day clearing forest, I finished clearing out the trees on plot 1, leaving space for me to access all the stumps that'll respawn daily. That night I had actually made quite the discovery. The secret shop in the Shop Anywhere tab sells Omni Geodes, and pairing this with the artifact troves that you can trade with the desert trader, I may have just stumbled into a very efficient way to collect artifacts. But it was getting late and I didn't want to pass out, so to bed I went. It was back to routine the next day, collecting Joja Colas deep in the mines is how my day went. Although I did use my artifact collecting strategy that night to trade Omni Geodes for artifact troves, and I have to say this was turning out to be a pretty good idea. I managed to add a few more unfound artifacts to my chest that night, and just before bed I used some duck mayo profits to purchase a few crafting recipes. Following more stump chopping, I purchased the remaining crafting recipes from vendors I hadn't managed to pick up yesterday, and I made a start on crafting anything and everything that I could. As you watch me craft, just remember that I have over 850 hours in this game, yet somehow I insist on crafting items one by one, constantly checking back to see what materials I need to craft them. Like an absolute goofball. Finally, some common sense kicks in and I buy the workbench to speed this process up. And so this crafting obsession carried on to day 80. I fed my ducks and chopped stumps, but I think you know I do that every day now. So I spent the day ticking off as many crafting recipes as I possibly could. I hit the end of the list later that evening, so I passed the time opening geodes I'd been hoarding in hopes of gaining even just one more artifact, and in fact I got 2. I picked my final cranberry harvest today. It'll be sad to see them go, but they've served me well, and I'm confident that between these and the wheat, I'll be way ahead on the crops grown challenge. Truthfully, between that, chopping stumps, and trash fishing, that was about all I did today. Plus a pretty nice paycheck at the end of the day. Aside from the usual morning chores, I filled the next day with grass scything down on plot 14 in preparation for winter. Between Sharky and I, we have about 4 or 5 silos on the farm. We share them because there's no way to differentiate who gets a certain amount of hay. But I can make use of this fact over the winter time since I still have ducks to feed, and I'm under the assumption that Sharky doesn't have as many animals to feed as I do. That night I managed to open a few more artifact troves, but unfortunately I didn't get any new ones. So I think we should move right along to day 83, the final day of fall. There wasn't anything out of the ordinary to report today, other than the usual daily tasks I'd fallen into routine with. Although I did finish off the day diving through the mines, collecting materials, and trying to get any combat and mining XP that I could. Eventually, I made it all the way down to level 110, and I collected up my purple space boots. In even better news, thankfully all that stump chopping paid off because we hit level 10 foraging, and mining level 8. And before I knew it, we were right into the frosty chill of winter is here, and both Sharky and I are now into the final stretch of this competition. There's gonna be a lot of repetition over the next month, doing the same thing day after day to maximize the strategies I've put in place over the last 84 days. So I'll just kinda skim over the boring parts and show you all the fun stuff. I spent a bit of time today catching the last remaining fish from the various bodies of water. I'm pretty confident I have this one in the bag. The following day, I ventured down the mines again and managed to hit the bottom. This was really to try and get more combat and mining XP, and before bed I ticked off a couple more crafting recipes. The day after that, I was back to the mines again to farm for more combat XP, but I had my first pond by day 88. I put a sea cucumber in it, just because I can. I'll build as many of these as I can to try and have as many farm buildings by the end of this challenge. But I will tell you now, Sharky goes pretty hard on the farm buildings. And then I was back to combat XP farming down in the mines for the rest of the day. I switched up the XP farming on day 90 to the icy castle levels to slay some skeletons. I needed their bone fragments for a crafting recipe. On day 93, after a couple of days full of trash fishing and being down in the mines, I managed to get another mining level. A couple of days later, as the day was ending, Sharky managed to somehow get him stuck in the chat box as he ended up passing out right next to his bed. Not an important detail, but I thought it was funny. A lot of my time over the last few days has been primarily focused on fishing. I gave up on getting any more combat or mining skill levels a while ago, because they are quite a grind to get. And I was more worried about the most gold in your inventory challenge. One day before the day 100 mark, I decided to yoink the training rod from the fishing minigame, just to see if I could catch green algae easier with it. And well, it kinda worked. This was so I could keep building ponds despite seeing a Sharky has constructed a such and such message every damn day. I celebrated the day 100 milestone by trash fishing. The grind never stops. And I'll tell you what, these final days are real easy to sum up. Fishing, fishing, more fishing, fishing, lots more fishing, trash fishing, back to normal fishing, back to trash fishing, and also pulling a little prank on Sharky while he was down in the mines. Oh hey, would you look at that? More fishing. Even on the second to last day I was fishing. However, late in the afternoon I packed up the rod for the final time, because tonight was the night to sell everything I'd been hoarding for the last week or two. Not only did I dump all of my fish, all of my duck mayo, and forage goods into the shipping bin, but everything else too. Every chest was emptied, and whatever it would let me dump into the bin is exactly what would go into it. I then opened whatever geodes I had left over to squeeze a bit of gold out of them. Whatever I couldn't sell I left all in one chest. I mean, just look at that final paycheck. And this is it, the final day of winter, but more importantly, the final day of competition. Just like every day beforehand, I collected up my eggs from all 10 coops, then started the bittersweet process of selling off all of my ducky friends. I also gained about another 100,000 gold by the time I'd sold them all. So you see, even while I was saying goodbye, they were still providing me with those magnificent profits. As the day was coming to an end, I continued to search the farm for any leftover gold I could make on my final day. But it was getting late, 111 days of competition were now behind me, and it was time to find out if I had done enough to deserve victory.
So, Pox, that is it. The end of an era. It feels like it.
That was
Wow.
unreal.
So I guess what we'll do is we'll go through the challenge list from top to bottom, and we'll obviously find out how well each of us did for each challenge to see who won it. And we'll also do a quick brief, not too long, just a short brief of like tactics. We'll describe our tactics for each challenge, like what was your focus for that challenge, just to give a little idea to me and you and to the viewers as well.
Absolutely. So for the money, if it wasn't quite obvious with my 10 coops and ducks running around everywhere, that was my big money maker.
Oh my god, that duck army. I kept saying it in the videos.
I will, in the video, I'm going to refer to it as the Duck Dynasty, or the Duck Mayo Dynasty.
Yeah, literally, there was so many.
There were so many, and I loved it.
The noise was unbelievable when I came down to that area, by the way.
I did think that. I was like, every time I went out to pet them, I was like, I bet Sharky's got an ear full of ducks right now.
So loud.
The other thing with ducks and coops is that it also added on to another challenge, which was farm buildings, how many farm buildings we have. Also, the other thing with ducks is that when you pick up eggs and you pet them, it gives you farming XP.
Oh, clever.
So that kind of...
I always forget about that, by the way.
When I was collecting eggs and duck feathers and petting my ducks every morning, I was getting like a Just a little bit of XP towards farming.
So that was your main moneymaker, was just duck mayonnaise in this?
That and fishing. But that's a classic Poxial move. Yeah, of course.
Of course.
Yeah. Of course.
Millionaires from fishing alone.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Let's hear your tactics and then we'll reveal.
My tactic with the money one was literally nothing. I didn't want to focus on this challenge.
Okay.
I needed to make money, so I was just making money quite mildly, but I wasn't going to do like a big major let's get millions. I kind of said from the start, I'm going to allow Pox to have this one, because making lots of money with loads of animals, loads of crops, loads of wine and jelly, it's going to take up too much time. And I had loads of other things that I wanted to do. So I was kind of like, money's money. I don't care. I'm just going to, if I beat Pox on this one, it's a bonus. So I was kind of leaving this one alone a little bit, if I'm being honest.
Okay.
Just making money. But I did end up going with goats. Goat cheese was my moneymaker, if I'm being honest. I do believe you have smashed me on this one. But I was expecting that. So let's review what you've got. It's a no-brainer.
I know
it for a fact.
My current funds in my bank account is 751,541 gold.
Okay. Well, I've got 346k. So boom.
I mean,
ticked off.
to be fair, that is not too bad.
Okay, so that's one ticked off for you.
And actually, you know what was crazy to me is selling my ducks. I made about 100 grand off selling my ducks.
Oh, Fox! I didn't sell my animals!
Oh, Sharky!
So let's go to total crops shipped.
Yeah.
So let's go through all the crops. So obviously forage don't count. So the first is the parsnip, and as you can see, I've only shipped 4 of them. So let's put 4 down.
4.
And then 7 papayas. Papaya? That's it. That's all of my fruit and veg.
Your
that I've
total
sold.
has come to 1,080 crops.
Just hit the 1,000, 1080. Nice. Okay.
Nice.
It's probably not a lot there. I wasn't focusing too much on crops. I don't know about you, but okay. Let's go with yours then.
So we've got 1 parsnip.
Oh, let's go.
Yeah, great start. 5 coconuts.
Yep.
69 bananas.
Ooh, yeah, you got the free banana trees, didn't you?
Yeah. So
Nice.
that's not 1. Green bean 4.
Yep.
Cauliflower 2.
Yep.
Potato 21.
21.
Garlic 4.
4 garlic.
65 kale.
Ooh, quite a lot of kale. Yep.
383 wheat.
Damn. Yep.
16 rice.
Yep.
Oh, Sharky, you're gonna love this one. 1,022 cranberries.
Okay, well, you've won already.
God.
You've won already. Okay.
Can I show you something?
Yeah, sure. Iridium sprinklers.
So, every Friday, Krobus sells an iridium sprinkler for 10,000 gold. And because we had this shop anywhere, I could get to Krobus.
Damn.
And Krobus sells them every Friday.
Damn. Well, GG, that's 2-0 up already. Fox, this is looking good for you, my friend. This is looking good. That's not a bad start. So let's go through the next challenge. So Pox is 2-0 up. We're going through most dishes cooked. And you're the one starting this off. Do you want to go through the screen thing again? Or do you want to just...
Sharky, I will save you your time, my man. I got 0.
Pox.
I
spent
didn't
really hard on cooking.
I didn't even touch it.
Oh. Okay, so you've not cooked one recipe at all?
No. I haven't cooked 1.
So I basically cooked... I mean, we'll get the number. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 6, 7, 8, 9, 50. 51 recipes I cooked.
Oh my god. How did you manage that?
I was saving all my... So, to be honest, I'm quite annoyed now because I put a lot of crops into that, which I could have shipped.
Oh, yeah, true.
I was saving, like, a couple of crops for each recipe. So, like, pumpkins, I need, like, 10 pumpkins. I put them to the side. Because I didn't know if you was going to focus on it, but knowing that you didn't even cook once, I could have just cooked literally 2 recipes and beat you.
But it's funny because it got to summer and I was like, oh my god, the cooking, I've completely forgotten about it. So I made a decision in summer. I was like, oh, there's no point. And then at one point I saw you get like the achievement for cooking like 10 dishes and I was like, I'm not even gonna bother.
All right, okay. Well, that's 2-1.
2-1.
That's 2-1. This is spicy now because we're going on to skill levels.
Yeah.
I've been so nervous about this one. This is interesting. I got level 10 farming. Did you?
Yes, I did.
Mining. You go first. What are you?
Mining, level 9.
I'm level 10. Come on. Come on. Okay, foraging. This is a big one. Okay, it's me. Please, please don't get more than me in this. Level 8.
I got level 10.
No! No, how did you do that?
The thing is with plot number 1 is there are tree stumps that respawn and they give you 25 foraging XP every time that you knock it down.
But I'm guessing we're both level 10 fishing, let's be honest.
Yes, definitely level 10 fishing.
So this is all down to combat Pox. Right, I am level 5.
I'm level 8.
Easy, yeah, you smashed it. The next one on the list is crafting. So highlight should say at least crafted, crafted at least one.
Crafted at least one. So
1,
2, 3, 83, 84, 85, 86.
Okay. This is crazy, by the way.
86
this is crazy.
items crafted.
Go. 1, 2, 3. 77, 78, 79.
Oh, that was
Damn.
close. That was so close.
That is so frustrating.
I
so
thought you might.
close. There's
I
a
thought
few
you might have had
recipes
that.
that you've bought there.
Yeah.
So now it's farm buildings built. Oh, this is you had so many buildings. There's just no way. Let's go to count your coops then. Here we go. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 coops with a silo. So that's 11 buildings so far.
And then farm pond stuff.
11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Is that it? Is that all you had?
Yeah, that's
Is
all
there any
I
more
had,
anywhere else?
19.
So let's count my coops then. So 2, 4, 6 coops on that beach. My fish ponds as well. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Do you remember that? Right, I've got a mill, 15. 2 coops here, 16, 17. The silo, 18. 19 coop, 20 barn. 21 shed, 22 stable.
Ooh, nice.
So there we go. It's 4-2. Hey,
4-2.
I'm back in the game.
4-2.
Oh, and now it's the artifacts box. I am so scared about this. 26, 27, 28, 29.
29.
Damn it.
Ooh.
I was hoping to get into the 30s there.
20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27.
Oh my
I
god.
was 2 off.
Yep, I had farm buildings and artifacts. It's currently 4-3, and we're down to the
4-3.
fish. One is 4-4.
It's 4-4. Oh, fishing minigame. I was going to put a cross through that. Yeah, you won that. You won that. You won that straight off the bat. You won that in the quickest way possible.
At the start, yeah. So it's 4-4 right now. It's all down to the fish.
40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46. Wow.
Right, well,
that is
I
a lot
won't
of
even
fish.
share my screen. I'm just going to quickly count, but I know it's not even that. But I can see it on my screen for the people. It's 37, 38, 39, 40, 41. What did you have?
Ooh, 46. Oh my god, that was close.
That was the mountain fish one. It was the largemouth,
Yeah.
the carp, the bullhead, the sturgeon. It's them ones I knew, that, and the chub. I wasn't going to get those.
Yeah,
So.
just a couple of extra ones.
Yeah, and listen, I've got 5 Joja Cola.
Let me just get him out for you. Let me just get him out for you. Oh yeah, go have a look for yourself.
Oh my god. Brilliant.
120 Joja Colas.
Oh my god. You see, I don't think I would have caught that much anyway, to be honest.
Yeah.
Was your technique with the Joja Cola the lava pond? Is that what you was doing too?
Oh yeah, I grinded that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was grinding
Yeah, I
that.
had, well, you can tell with 120.
That's a W.
So there we go.
That's a
We
W
have
for
a
Poxial.
winner, a new winner.
W
1
for Poxial.
Oh my god, that was insane.
Oh my god, I cannot believe I won that. You know what? I had a game plan from so early on and I just followed that game plan the whole way through. I did not stray from it.
And that was my problem. I think I was changing too much. Like, I was going to do the Joja Colas. I decided against it. I was going to max out the foraging. I decided against it. Yeah. This is a perfect setup. You think I've won one, you've won one. It's down to the last one. This is going to be huge.
It's down to the final challenge.
If the people want to see it, they want to see the trilogy, and it's going to be basically the big one. The end, probably the end of an era there. Who's going to, the winner takes all, essentially. But this time, I don't know what we're going to do. I did say I'm going to leave it in your hands this time, because I kind of took charge of this one we've done this time around. That's going to be a big one, by the way. That's going to be way more tense than any of these we've done, because it's like we both won one each. It's like the end.
Yeah, that's huge. The score is 1-1.
Oh my god!
You can tell with 120. So there we go.
Sharky and I need to decide a winner, and we're gonna do that with the craziest tiebreaker challenge yet. This tiebreaker challenge will span across one whole Stardew Valley year. We will have a list of 10 challenges to compete against each other for. Most challenges won by the end of the year will take home the crown and the title of the ultimate supreme, totally the best Stardew Valley player of all time. Or, something like that. Before we kick off this winner takes all tiebreaker, there's a few things I need to preface with this challenge. I shaped this final competition to include many end game challenges. That being said, I needed us to hit the ground running. So we started on the first day of year 2 and 1,001,000 gold. Don't ask about the extra 1,000 gold. We'll both start with all gold tools. All of our skills are at level 10, meaning mastery is on the table from the get-go. There are no mods to help us, and pretty much every single location is free for us to explore. Okay, yeah, I think that's about all I had to say. Anyway, let's get into it. From the word go, I had already ditched Sharky in the dust of my tracks as I raced off to the mines. Immediately, I took the elevator down to level 100 to secure one of the 7 potential star drops. As the screen glowed purple, I was already on the board for one of our 10 challenges. Oh look! My star drop tastes like winning. Oh yeah, baby, you bet it does. In the levels preceding, I geared up with the obsidian sword and space boots. I left the mines a new man. Shortly after gearing up in the mines, I paid a visit to the secret path beside Clint's to get my hands on a power book. There are 19 power books total, and the alleyway buffet was number 1. Right after this, I took off to Krobus to purchase star drop number 2. Back on the farm, I took some time to cut trees down and start making a chest area for myself. I can imagine I'm gonna need it soon, so I got 4 down before taking out into the valley again. I did some foraging around the Cindersap forest before picking up a help wanted quest. These are going to be crucial for prize tickets, and you'll see why I need them soon enough. For now, I tried to find some squid kids in the mines. Unfortunately, none showed, so I finished my first day of competition in the quarry, collecting some mining essentials. As we woke up on day 2, Sharky let me know of a glaring mistake I'd made when I set this farm up for us. I kinda forgot to give him a shipping bin. It wasn't even to hinder him, I promise. It just totally slipped my mind, but he didn't mind getting himself one, so it's all good. Anyway, back to the grueling matchup. One of the potential star drops required me to catch every single fish. And what better way to spend a day than getting a start on that very task? Entering the sewers that afternoon, we caught our very first glimpse of the person standing in the way of our victory. The man himself, Sharky Games. He drew first blood, so to speak, and caught the first of 5 legendary fish. Oh, that's one cheeky son of a shark. To add insult to injury, it took me so long to finally hook one. But not to worry, I got it. And we were right back in it. I started the next day with a bit of fishing in the river. Afterwards, I took off to the mines again, this time to try and complete a help wanted quest to slay some rock crabs. I was rudely interrupted by Sharky having problems, so I went to help him and we got the obsidian sword to spawn in for him. I made a heartbreaking discovery later on that the help wanted quest wanted me to slay lava crabs, not the regular kind. But I didn't mind spending my time down here because one of the challenges was most monsters slayed, so at least I was still being productive. Good morning. Wait a minute. What are you doing here? Get out of here, you silly little shark. One of the 10 challenges is most villager hearts. My strategy for this was to give up birthday gifts, the first of which would go to Kent. Down to Willie's I then went so I could grab 2 trapper bobbers, and I returned to the mountain lake. The legend was on my hit list today. The rain was pouring down, making it the perfect conditions to catch one. Putting all of my 1,000 plus hours of this game on display, and this one fish was well worth it. It only took hooking it once to secure legendary fish number 2. With plenty of time still left in the day, I used it to catch more fish that only appear when it rains. No, I hadn't managed to finish the rock crab help wanted quest, but I had picked up a couple more over the last couple of days. I took my first of many bus rides to the desert to get some coconuts, and I went fishing for a largemouth bass. Not to mention Sharky making a smart-ass remark about me fishing, which to be fair is kind of true. I do have a remarkable track record for fishing in these challenges. The coconut I eventually handed over to Penny, and the largemouth bass I caught was going to go to Leah, but for the absolute life of me I could not find her to save my life. It's not like I even had the schedule up on the wiki on my phone or anything, that'd be silly. I took my frustrations out on the monsters in the mines. What does he mean, thanks for a great night? You know, I've always loved a good enemies to lovers storyline. But this isn't one of those, because that son of a shark is going down. Unless... Hiding beside the mine entrance was the dwarf vendor, who, I remembered, sells the dwarfish safety manual. I then kept the power book hunting going. Marnie's animal catalogue was the next one to tick off. Right after, I had to travel to Ginger Island, which meant a trip on Willie's boat and, unfortunately, an unskippable cutscene. I was here to give Pam an earth crystal for a help wanted quest I picked up earlier. And after many hours wasted waiting for Leah to finally leave her house, not creepy at all by the way, I finally got that largemouth bass to her. This gave me my first prize ticket, putting me one step closer to those prize machine goodies. Turns out both Sharky and I had a similar idea on how we were going to finish off our days. I conceded, but I just headed 5 levels further down to slay monsters for the rest of the night. And then there was fire. Or, you know, a few furnaces. The 7th of spring is our Mayor Lewis's birthday, and I added to my total villager hearts with a cactus fruit. Today's task was to spend the day putting my axe to the grindstone and chopping down trees. There was a certain power book that you can get by doing this called Woody's Secret. I won't lie, long after the sun had set I was losing hope, but then in the dying hours of the day it popped out of a tree on the farm, and I could tick off book number 4. Another challenge on my mind was most hats collected. A part of my strategy here was to collect achievements to purchase the hats they unlock at the Hat Mouse. To make a start on this, I used the surplus of wood from yesterday to get an upgrade on my farmhouse from Robin, which will eventually get me the moving up achievement. I then popped down a few lightning rods to catch stray lightning bolts back on the farm before fishing back in the river. Who knows where he's going? But I caught a catfish. Close by, I noticed the special quest board had a prize ticket. I think Sharky had finished a quest last week, but it's fun to know that I also get a ticket. So that went straight to the prize ticket machine. To finish up the day, I found myself back in the mines slaying monsters. Let's just say, it's a bad day to be a slime in the mines. If you know, you know. And if you don't, go and watch this video after this one. But it's really good, I promise. Waking up the next day, I had 4 batteries to my name already. My plans for the future were already coming together, but I can't get ahead of myself. For now, I whacked my way through to the secret woods, and I caught myself a wood skip. On the other side of the valley, I popped down 4 crab pots that I had made to get a wriggle on catching the crab pot fish. Then I hustled down the mines to catch the special fish on levels 20, 60, and 100. That shark's got some real nerve. All is forgiven, however, because I caught all the minefish by the end of the day. We're already 10 days into the competition and things are only going to heat up from here. Vincent was next in line to receive a birthday gift. I gave him a spare coconut I had lying around. It was back to the mines and monster slaying today, but there was another reason for my brash mine expeditions. There lay a power book down here that had a chance to pop up from slaying monsters, called the Monster Slayer Compendium. Unfortunately, I didn't get it, but Sharky did yoink a gold bar of mine. The mind games have already begun. My luck with the Monster Compendium changed on day 11. I had returned to the mines in search of such a mysterious book, and right as the morning was wrapping up, I happened upon the Monster Compendium. Throughout the rest of the day, I scavenged the lower levels for gold. I quickly popped by the saloon to get a stack of coffees, for speed boost purposes, and I collected copper in the higher levels. It was hard to stay away from the mines, I must admit, but that was because a part of my plan involved a lot of gold. Quick sidetrack, one of the challenges was the deepest Skull Cavern dive, and to achieve the deepest dive, I was going to replicate Jadestone in a bunch of crystallariums, hence why I need the gold. Anyway, back to regular scheduled programming. While I was down here, I managed to reach a new level of understanding. Unfortunately, that does not mean I now finally understand calculus and I can retake my class that I failed in school, but it does mean I have a mastery level to claim, so to the mastery cave I went. My first choice was combat mastery, because I like trinkets. Then it was back to monster slaying and gold gathering. The 13th of spring, of course, hosts the Egg Festival in town. Up for grabs was the straw hat, an advantage for the person who wins it, no doubt. With the ice pip incident fresh in my mind, it was time to put that shark in his place. With the egg hunt victory under my belt, not only did I take home the straw hat, but a newly enlarged sense of self-worth. At least he's got something. I think I may have hit a nerve last night because both of us were racing to the desert today. When we got to the desert, I had to guess up or down, and unfortunately the race to get a coconut for Haley's birthday was won by Sharky. I took it really well, by the way. So I had to settle on giving Haley a daffodil instead. Sharky, probably still upset at his loss yesterday, decided to rub it in a little further by saying it was gold quality. It would have been iridium quality if I had picked it up, pal.
Stop rubbing it in.
Anywho, on a much better note, I was able to move my crab pots down to the ocean, as I had caught all the freshwater crab pot fish. Then it was back to the mine grind for gold for a while, all before replenishing my salads at the saloon and purchasing a stack of bombs. There was a good reason I purchased all of those bombs, and it was because it's the Desert Festival. I'd like to point out that there were 3, potentially more hats on offer here to get at the Desert Festival. So on the first day, I did some fishing for Willy to get me started, then I answered some questions with the scholar to add on to my calico egg collection. With them, I purchased the first of 3 hats, a blue bow. I left it there for today because I wanted to make use of a full day for a Skull Cavern run. In the meantime, I took a little trip over to Ginger Island to gather hardwood. I accepted Robin's resource rush quest on the way back home, and just before bed, I dropped the blue bow right beside my straw hat, safely away in my hat collecting chest. The spirits were in good humour today, which was good enough for me to go on a daring Skull Cavern crusade. Armed to the teeth with bombs, I got a challenge from Marlin and got to work in the caverns. My highest priority were calico eggs, but when the caverns are littered with egg nodes, it makes it a breeze to get them. Not to mention the cat statues placed around the caverns will either bless you or curse you. Mostly bless, but sometimes curse. And hey, any monster slayed down here will add on to my final number anyway. I returned topside that night with an inventory full of goodies. I gave Gil my final cavern rating, which impressed him very much so. The eggs I used to purchase the dark velvet bow, a few mystery boxes, and the mummy mask. And I secured the 2 hats in my hat chest when I got home that night. Wait a minute. I'm back in the caverns. Well, I did have 51 bombs left over, so hey, why not, am I right? Another heroic dive through the musty caverns is what got me 10 more mystery boxes on the final day of the Desert Festival. I'll tell you why I need them very soon. But it's day 18 now and we've got more important things to do, like making our first 4 crystallariums. The best time to invest in your future is right now. You also may notice that I have a fairy flying above my head. Well, I got my first trinket yesterday, and this fairy heals me. Precisely why I chose combat to be my first mastery level. And I gave Pam a birthday gift too. Off to the mines I went after this. I was here to collect resources like stone and copper. I should note I also knocked off a monster slayer goal too. A nice little nod to the progress I was making towards most monsters slayed. Luckily, all the skull cavern bombing and stone collecting in the mines had been enough to complete Robin's resource rush. With that, I got another prize ticket and we were getting ever so close to some very juicy prizes. Back on the farm, I had to expand my storage to separate the fish related items, and I was unlucky not to catch a gobby that night. A gobby, you ask? What's a gobby, you say? This, my friends, is a gobby. Get your head out the gutter, please and thank you. I'm now turning my coffees into triple shot espressos, by the way, for longer periods of speed. I use that speed to sprint to the top of the Ginger Island volcano. Sharky had obviously opened it up on a previous day, so it made getting there significantly easier. Nonetheless, waiting for me at the top was a prismatic shard. I decided to then take a journey through the volcano dungeon. A challenge on our list of challenges is to collect the most amount of dragon teeth. A pretty rare resource that can only be found here in the dungeon. Sadly, I left with the same amount of teeth that I entered with, 0. But I got a second prismatic shard, so there's that, I guess. Speaking of prismatic shards, there's only one thing to do with your very first one. That is, of course, take a little trip out to the desert. With the Galaxy Sword now in my possession, I took it for a test run back in the Volcano Dungeon. I got a bit luckier today in my search for dragon teeth. A single tooth presented itself to me today, and that's more than what I had yesterday, so I'll take it. Before wrapping up the day, I handed a birthday gift over to Shane, who was hanging out in the saloon, and I got some much needed rest. Our favourite big balloon book-selling vendor Marcelo was debuting his collection of books for the first time today. It seemed like a mad dash between competitors to get there, but truthfully it didn't really matter. I purchased 4 power books from Marcelo, The Price Catalogue, Old Slitherlegs, Horse the Book, and last but not least, The Way of the Wind Part 1. I then raced off to the mines to collect copper, which I put towards a help wanted quest on behalf of Clint. For doing so, I actually got the Go For achievement, another hat to collect further on down the track. Furthering my help wanted quest efforts, I picked up another one from Demetrius to catch 5 anchovies. Naturally, this is what I did for the remainder of the day. I didn't quite manage to catch all 5 last night, so I had to keep the momentum going through to the next day. Luckily, it didn't take long to wrap it up, and for my endeavour, I got another prize ticket. I used it at the prize machine at Lewis's and got myself 3 more mystery boxes. Afterwards, I popped off to the mines for the day. I had picked up Willie's Juicy Bugs quest this morning on the way to catch more anchovies. During my time down here, I quickly noticed Sharky was donating a suspicious amount of artifacts. Did he want the achievement? Was he going for the star drop? What was that sneaky shark up to? My bug slaying, bug meat collecting agenda carried on into day 23. I put in the hard yards and I had it finished by the mid-afternoon. The bug meat went straight into Willie's smelly bait bin on the pier, and my efforts produced my very first star drop tea. I have a very special plan for this tea, but I can't reveal it just yet. So for now, I'll just tell you about how I unlocked fishing mastery in the mastery cave, and about how I smelted copper. Look, it's not all go 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 all the time. Hey, what's he doing back here? I thought I said to never show your face around here. With everything being locked today due to the flower dance happening in the woods, I used today to plant down a rare seed I'd picked up earlier from the travelling cart. And I fished. I'm not really helping the whole Poxial fishes 24/7 allegations right now, but since gaining mastery in fishing, I had the chance to now haul up golden fishing chests. And lo and behold, I did just exactly that, and what did I fish up but another star drop tea. Surely that means I'll be able to fish up more in the future. Moving right along to day 25, Marcelo was back in business above the movie theater. I toddled along to grab the long-awaited part 2 of the Way of the Wind series, and I spent the majority of the day venturing through the volcano dungeon again. Luck seemed to have been on my side today. A dragon skeleton treasured 3 dragon teeth for me to extract on my run, bringing my total to 4 teeth. I set out the following morning with gifts at the forefront of my noggin. I gave Pam an iron bar for a help wanted quest, Pierre a daffodil for his birthday, and Haley a largemouth bass, also for a help wanted quest. I genuinely don't think I've ever done so many help wanted quests in my life. I then decided to restock my coal levels with a trip to the quarry. And right afterwards, I tried my luck in the Adventurers Guild for another power book. All that time in the mines seemed to have paid off because I added the Mapping Cave Systems book to my collection. You need 1,000 monsters slayed to access this book, so safe to say that's put me in high spirits. I still had a lot of the day left to use up, so I filled it with a trip to the desert to trade some Omni Geodes to the desert trader for artifact troves. And I tried fishing for more gold chests, but I'm sure we're all well aware of how successful that was. I'd like to play a little game with you all. A game of spot the difference, if you will. Notice how Sharky has planted taro roots? Well, that's because the island trader sells 3 hats for 30 taro roots each. Now let's have a look at what I'm planting. Have you noticed the difference? Well, those, my friends, are rice shoots. And I'm about to find that out the hard way very soon. While we wait for Poxial to realize his mistake, I made use of the fact I was on Ginger Island to fetch some more dragon teeth. My luck took a dramatic turn heading into the volcano dungeon. I struck purple dragon tooth gold, so to speak. I actually just couldn't stop collecting them if I tried. I left Ginger Island with 13 teeth, and honestly, I can't even remember what I was complaining about. Oh, and I can't forget that I gave Emily a birthday gift too. And to top off a crazy day, I bought home radioactive goggles from a drop in the dungeon. Another hat to add to the collection. The final day of spring is upon us already. Neither me nor Sharky was slowing down anytime soon though. I waited patiently outside of Pam's trailer this morning to hand her a frozen tear. Another help wanted quest done, another achievement gained, another prize ticket given to the prize machine, and another book so close to being mine. Over at Clint's, I got him to whack open some troves and boxes for me. The artifact troves had a chance to drop another power book for me, however it wasn't meant to be just yet. The mystery boxes held both a hat and a power book. Today I was lucky enough to come across the Book of Mysteries, which I'm happy to add on to the collection. I then decided to book in the spring season with a few attempts at Junimo Kart. That's right, one of our challenges is to have the highest Junimo Kart score, which is funny because we're both really inexperienced with Junimo Kart, so this should be fun. I played for a while today, getting used to the controls, the mechanics, how the little fruits on the track work, and how to get as many points as I possibly could. I even put up a pretty good score of 43,400 points. Not a bad way to round out an outstanding first season of competition. We are powering through into summer, and the first day of the new season was no exception. It was right to fishing, catching all of the new fish that sprung up under the hot summer sun. This included catching legendary fish number 3, the crimson fish. I ended up fishing for most of the day, but as it got later, I substituted the rod for my galaxy sword and hit up the mines to slay monsters. Funnily enough, I stumbled across another hat while I was down here, and I won't be complaining while I stuff that away in my hat collection chest. The rod did have to reappear the next day, however, I still had a few extra summer fish to catch, including an octopus, a pike, and a pufferfish. Afterwards, I found myself back in the mines. I think I'm having deja vu. With the fairy by my side and a galaxy sword swinging, I made short work of the monsters down here. The hunt for ectoplasm continued on to day 31. Unfortunately, I came up short every time. I had to change things up the next day. 3 days without success does not do any good to one's self-esteem. So I headed back to Ginger Island, and further deeper into the island, the volcano dungeon. On my way to the dwarf, I got to collect a few more dragon teeth. But you'll notice I bought 10 diamonds with me. With those, I purchased the Diamond Hunter book, adding on another book towards the challenge. I got one more tooth before leaving the dungeon later that night. My lightning rods had caught 2 bolts yesterday, giving me 2 more batteries to make 2 more crystallariums to replicate an additional 2 jade stone. It was a very convoluted way to say I just made 2 more crystallariums. Over in the town river, I caught a few rainbow trout for a help wanted quest. These will become important later on. I accepted another one shortly after, and I couldn't believe it, but there was a queue to give George gifts. Oh, no, please, Sharky. After you. The mines were calling out to me following this, so I was drawn back in to search for this bloody ectoplasm. Not only did I get another prismatic shard, but I also got the ectoplasm. I went straight to the wizard, who was thrilled to have the ectoplasm in his possession. Robin was after an amethyst for a help wanted quest. I gave that over to her, and with 2 prize tickets in my possession, I got to collect 2 more prizes from the prize machine. I may be 1 ticket away from the Friendship 101 book, but that would have to wait as I ran out of tickets. Hey, remember how I planted those rice shoots? Yeah, I figured that out today. I'm now rich in unmilled rice, but lacking in the brain department. Not to worry, I made up for that by catching all 3 of the Ginger Island fish. My tasks on day 35 were plain and simple. I gave Evelyn a leek for a quest, I gave Robin her lost axe back, and I planted down some taro tuber. Yes, I double checked. If I had somehow planted down rice shoots again, I think I may have just given up the competition there and then. Never to mind, I once again made short work of the volcano dungeon, plundering it for dragon teeth. I must have been picking the perfect days for it because there were just so many. How am I getting so many dragon teeth right now? I noticed in passing that the dwarf actually sells a pink bow, so I grabbed one to add to the hat collection. 8 was the final number of teeth I walked away with that night, bringing our total now to 29. Mooching into town the next morning, I passed by the special quest board and picked up Robin's project special quest, which tasked me to gather 80 hardwood. I was pretty keen to finish this one, considering if I do, I get another power book. So I searched far and wide for opportunities to collect as much hardwood as I could. I then migrated over to the dig site for a bit of panning. You may be thinking, Pox, this is a weird way to spend your time considering you're competing for the title of Ultimate Supreme, totally the best Stardew player of all time. But as a matter of fact, I chose the challenges. So of course, I made the final challenge, Most Lucky Rings Panned Up. My textbook panning skills proved worthless today, however 0 lucky rings were panned up, and I went home that night empty-handed. At least I got to have a bit of fun playing some Junimo kart racing Sharky. I'll tell you what, it's a whole lot more stressful when you can literally see the other player's score. We had to stop on day 37 for Sharky to take a bathroom break. He's got the bladder size of a mother of 5. Used your own joke against you, Sharky. Go watch his first video if you want context. When things did kick back off again, I finished up Robin's quest with some good old-fashioned stump chopping. The prize machine finally gave me the Friendship 101 book, and we can tick off another book added to the collection. Back at home, I used some ginger and sugar to make ginger ale. It gives me a +1 luck boost, so I'm gonna keep a hold of these for panning. Speaking of, that's what I did. But just when I thought I was gonna be panning in the peace of quiet, that's when I saw him.
And now I want to sit back and relax and enjoy my evening. When all of a sudden, I hear this agitating, grating voice.
We made a joke about duping a lucky ring because we'd done it in the past, but then I actually got one, so I asked if he got one, and he replied with 3. I can't tell if he's joking or not. We both passed out last night, so in the same bed as where we woke up. Nothing unusual for us. From yesterday's panning, I managed to get 1 single ring to start my collection, and another hat. That's good to know panning can produce random hats. I had to trek back out to Ginger Island, this time to give Maru a birthday gift. And pan again. Sharky and I were showing similar colours now, but it was good to have him back panning with me. Sometimes you gotta keep your friends close and your enemies closer. I managed to pan up 1 more lucky ring today and 1 hat, but we did keep ourselves busy drawing in the dirt. Cutthroat competition disguised in playful banter is quintessential to our dynamic. Waking up the following day, I checked in on my rare seed only to find half a greenhouse of starfruit. Seriously, what's he up to? After discussing the luau with Sharky and ultimately coming to the conclusion that there was no point in going, I spent some time back on the farm crafting a bunch of random items so I could get the DIY achievement. I also made myself the iridium band just as a quality of life upgrade. Then I kept on crafting cheap on resource items to get the artisan achievement, only to finish the day down in the mines, slaying skeletons. Upon checking the TV this morning, I saw it was a very good luck day. Okay, well, the fairy's in the way, but you just gotta trust me. To make use of such a good luck day, I took off to the dig site to do more panning. It's the one challenge I haven't put that much time into, and I'm scared Sharky is gonna beat me at my own game. So I was happy to have panned up another single lucky ring today, slowly but surely increasing my lucky ring collection. I took a stroll around town waiting for things to start on day 41. Through sheer luck, I thought maybe I could pull the trash can hat, but alas it wasn't meant to be. Giving a birthday gift to Alex, however, was meant to be, and so was completing the spooky skeleton monster slayer goal. It's important to note that some of the monster slayer goals reward hats for completing them, and we all know how important these little suckers are. After popping down 2 additional crystallariums on my side of the farm, I took off to the mines for a while today. I think I was still on that monster slayer grind, this time for Duggies. However, that stopped later in the afternoon because I remembered it was Sunday. Sunday is an important day because it's the only day that the desert trader will trade my jadestone for staircases. With my first lot of staircases acquired, I went back to Duggie hunting. Turns out I didn't have many left to slay. I finished the monster slayer goal pretty quickly, and I got my hands on another hat. Back on the farm that night, I did some reconnaissance over on Sharky's half of the farm, and what I saw horrified me. How I didn't think of a coop baffles me. That was such a good idea, and the wool for cloth to use in tailoring hats? So smart! I'm not gonna lie, this panicked me a little bit, but I didn't have a minute to stop and think. Time spent thinking is time wasted in a situation like this. I just had to keep going and pray that all of my strategies would work out in due time. Here in the Skull Caverns, I was doing a run for resources, mostly gold, iridium, and prismatic shards if I got lucky, with an added bonus of monster slaying. Further into the night, I managed to hit level 100, where I received some iridium snake milk from Mr. Key. And when all was said and done, technically I'd put up my furthest Skull Cavern run to date. The score to beat was now 112. Ball's now in your court, Mr. Sharky. Have at it. Waking up the next morning, I took some time to expand the farm necessities. More crystallariums, more furnaces, more lightning rods. My time in the caverns had produced quite a few Omni Geodes, so I traded them for artifact troves. I gave Clint another 16 chances to give me the treasure appraisal guide, but he refused to give it over. Over on the island, I found my taro ready for harvest. I ran them all through seed makers back on the farm. I'll need 90 total for the 3 hats the island trader sells. To kill some time that night, I started a hat tailoring chest. I've mentioned it a couple of times now, but there are quite a few hats that you can tailor. You get these by combining cloth and certain items in Emily's sewing machine. So I thought I'd make a start on that by setting aside a few items I'd need to do this. Now you may be thinking, Pox, what are you doing waiting in Jodie's house? You look like you're waiting for Sam to wake up. And to that I'd say you're correct, well done. Sam is going to be my husband. Combining both an iridium quality gift and a star drop tea, I shot his hearts up from 0 to 7 in a matter of seconds. And you'll see why I need a husband soon. But for now, I managed to dig up another power book. Totally caught me by surprise, but I'm happy to tick that one off. And I just realized that I also have the Jewels of the Sea book. Cloth was something that I was lacking for hat tailoring, but I had a plan. You see, the perk Crusader allows me to slay mummies without the need of bombs. And what do they drop? Cloth. Not only that, but slaying them obviously goes towards one of the challenges, plus the Monster Slayer goal gives me a hat. I'd like to believe this was one of my smarter ideas in this competition. I should also mention that I got the generous perk on my pan. Hopefully that gives me more chances of finding lucky rings. I finished the day off getting in some Junimo carp practice, and so did Sharky, so it would seem. Neither of us cracked a score past 40,000, but we did get pretty close. A green haze had fallen upon the valley today, and I couldn't care less. It's harsh, I know, but I really had no use for either fiber nor moss. Instead, I used the rain to catch a red snapper from the ocean. I then gave Sam another cactus fruit, then asked him to be a little more than friends. It just goes to show how a couple of gifts and one really strong magical tea can forge instant relationships. Afterwards, I stood in the green rain again to catch a dorado, another fish I hadn't caught yet, and I finished off the day in the caverns, trying to reset the first few levels to slay mummies. The 19th of summer is Demetrius's birthday, so I got him a purple mushroom. Although anytime I give a gift now, I just think about all of those rabbit feet that Sharky's probably giving out now. My problem here was I was just thinking too much. So less thinky, more slay. What's great about these mummy levels is that ghosts drop omni geodes, perfect to trade for more artifact troves. So it's a big win all around. What was not a big win, however, was trying to do the same thing the next day. I got like one mummy level the whole day. To rectify a terrible day, I took fate into my own hands as the second day of the Trout Derby was on, and I was going to get myself a hat. I wasn't too sure if Sharky had been here yesterday, but if he didn't, then I'd be one hat up on him if he didn't. My goal was 10 tags to pretty much guarantee the hat drop, and armed with a bait maker, I made this competition my bit. I'm sorry, I'm just so pumped. I was rewarded with the bucket hat that night, another hat to add to my growing collection. Speaking of hats, Sharky had completed a special quest last week giving me a free prize ticket. The prize machine did have a hat to spare, and I was only now one more ticket away from it, so I picked up Linus's community cleanup quest. I then made a quality bobber back home. I used this to catch an iridium quality lava eel, which paired with my other star drop tea skyrocketed the dwarf's hearts. Any hearts I get is crucial to compete with Mr. Bunny Farmer over here. I headed back down the elevator to fish for trash. All of it went towards completing Linus's quest, and I finally had everything I wanted from the prize machine. No more grinding help wanted quests, thank God. And my soon-to-be husband decided to dodge a gift by mere milliseconds.
Why are you running? Why are you running?
Well, look who came crawling back to my bed because he couldn't handle a little thing called time management. Thanks to my cavern expeditions, I had the materials to craft an additional 7 crystallariums. The more jadestone the better, people. With some bone fragments, I traded for more taro root at the island trader, and planted down my, hopefully, final round of taro tuber. Might have been faster if I didn't plant rice shoots the first time, but hey. Afterwards, I went on a hat collecting crusade. In the Gormon Frog Cave, I fished up the frog hat. I bought fireworks and a mushroom seed to tailor into hats, and purchased Mr. Key's hat, all from the Walnut Room. I also accepted Danger in the Deep, which I picked up purposefully just to stop Sharky grinding monsters in the mines. I did give Sam his cactus fruit, he didn't run away from me this time. And I got my 3rd star drop from handing over the sweet gemberry I'd been growing in the greenhouse to the Master Cannoli statue. With some time left before bedtime, I parked up in the saloon grinding out some Junimo Carp for a while. I'm sad to say no new high scores were put up, but I did still lead with the highest score. I started day 52 up at the mountain lake. I'd forgotten to catch a sturgeon, so I quickly ticked that one off my list. Luckily for me, it made a perfect birthday gift for our favorite resident fisherman. Sam received his next cactus fruit. I'll get that boy to 10 hearts no matter how many cactus fruits it takes. And afterwards, I found myself catching a void salmon in the Witch's Swamp. I'll keep this one safe for tailoring as well. With not much else to do, I bust out to the desert and continue to slay mummies. And, well, any monster I came across, really.
Well, I guess you just have to be prepared to die.
Thanks to yesterday's thunderstorm, I was able to extend the collection of crystallariums by another 4. It turns out the special quest Sharky had finished last week had been the prismatic slime quest. Better him than me doing that, let's be real, that would have taken me all week. I know that because I can now craft Monster Musk, and that's bad news for Sharky because it's gonna make completing Monster Slayer goals so much easier. I decided to stay down here for the day. I thought I might as well make use of what I can imagine is the putrid smell of the Monster Musk. Collecting another hat from Gil is always such a good feeling. Plus it seems the Danger in the Deep quest ruse did not keep a certain somebody away from the mines. I had to take a trip over to the island this morning because I had to hand Leo a prismatic shard for his birthday. Trust me, I have no better use for them now that I've got all the enchantments I need. To take full advantage of being here on Ginger Island, I took off to the volcano dungeon for the day. I got as many teeth as Sharky has chances of winning this competition. 0. I started day 55 up at Robin's, commissioning a second house upgrade. A bigger house will get me another achievement, and another achievement gets me another hat. I then took all of my mystery boxes and artifact troves that I collected over the past season to Clint's. The good news, I got the mystery hat from opening my mystery boxes. The bad news is, I still don't have the treasure appraisal guide, despite the numerous artifact troves I've opened at this point. But it's not all bad, some artifacts I got to keep to eventually tailor into hats. And with 2 seasons left to get it, I wasn't too worried just yet. Here we are on the final day of summer already. To kick it off, I had to purchase another rare seed from the traveling cart. I'll need to grow this for hat tailoring, so down it went into the greenhouse. I was after a very specific hat today, and that required me to win it big here at the casino. It took me ages to get anything going, but my winnings went towards purchasing the top hat. A classy addition to my hat collection. I think for the first time in my career as a pro Stardew Valley player, I did not finish the summer season at the Moonlight Jellies. Ghastly, I know. Who am I and what have you done with Poxial? But Sharky and I were so locked in on getting a good Junimo cart run, the time just kinda slipped away from us. I welcomed in the new fall season the same way I did for summer, with a rod in hand and catching as many of the new fish as I could. This did include the 4th legendary fish, the angler. I noticed while fishing this morning that Sharky had also taken a lover. I basically fished all day. And fished into the next day too. Okay, well I had to get Penny a birthday gift, and I popped by Sam's to keep the spark alive with another cactus fruit. My taro roots were already ready for harvest across on Ginger Island, but I did notice that, wait a minute, some of it was taken. That's not as many as I planted, right? I smell foul play and a certain stank of shark. Never to mind, I accepted Key's Let's Play a Game quest for a laugh, and I kept on fishing for more fall associated fish. Also, Sharky had some problems with the movie theater glitching out. Karma perhaps for stealing my taro root. Hello again, sweetie pie. Marry me? Sam and I were finally to be wed, and I might as well say that I'm doing this for the spouse star drop. And hey, Sam's a pretty good guy too. Me and Mr. Taro Root Stealer over here spent a bit of time fishing in the river. He's probably stealing my fish too, now that I think about it. He's done it before. I caught my walleye and dipped to pursue a higher Junimo cart score. What I didn't expect to do was put up a run like this. $71,230. I'll be honest guys, I have no idea how I did that. I never played Junimo Kart. That was just pure adrenaline and a whole lot of luck. I honestly didn't quite know how to follow a day like that, so I retired to the mines for the day to farm for gold. Believe it or not, I still wanted more crystallariums, and the lack of gold was making it hard to craft them. Something I'm only just getting around to now is purchasing the key to the town from Mr. Key. Now, I should have thought of this ages ago, but better now than never. Arriving back in the valley, I immediately handed over Elliot's birthday gift, and then I went nuts with even more crystallariums and triple shot espressos. I just love the speed boost I get when I drink them. With Sam moving in soon, I moved the collection chests out of the way to the other room. The last thing I need is Sam barging through a chest and destroying all of my hard work. I didn't think it could happen, but I wasn't going to take any chances. I then traded for more taro tuber on the island since I didn't have enough to purchase all the hats. Please make this the last lot I have to plant. I'm sick of planting them. I did a half volcano dungeon run to round out the day. I managed to bring home just one single tooth. The best part about getting married in Stardew Valley multiplayer is that the other person has to attend. Now Sharky has to watch as I do the thing he's been trying to do, but I did it faster. Speed is of the essence after all. With my husband acquired and a star drop shortly on the way, I dropped past the saloon to hand Gus a lobster for a quest. Can you tell I was getting desperate for villager hearts? The rest of the day was taken up panning at the dig site. The panning spots were aplenty, but the lucky rings were not. Quickly moving on to the following day, I started trying to give out loads of diamonds to make up for the severe lack of villager hearts I had. But I think it was at this point I decided to surrender this challenge to Sharky. I just had a feeling that I couldn't compete with the amount of rabbits he had. I still gave out gifts every now and again, but I made the smart decision to focus on the other 9 challenges instead. So I caught a slime jack. And I reeled in another lava eel for hat tailoring. Actually, I had amassed quite a few items to tailor into hats, and with the cloth now to back it up, I got to work on Emily's sewing machine. Content with how much fuller the hat chest was looking after all of that, I took off to the mines to whittle down the amount of dust sprites needed to get the burglar's ring. I reserved the start of day 64 for another dragon teeth run. I'm glad I did because all in all it was pretty successful. I walked out of there with 2 dragon teeth and a squire's helmet. The only thing is, I already had the squire helmet, so I'll have to be careful about duplicates from here on out. I did venture back to the volcano, this time to infuse my galaxy sword with a few rubies. A little bit of extra damage will be nice when I'm sending monsters to swim with the fishes. When I'm sending the monsters to swim with the fishes. I'm so sorry, that was my one attempt at a New York accent. As the day was coming to an end, I was able to get my 4th mastery level, this one in mining. Don't ask about the 3rd one, I completely skipped over it by accident. It was foraging. Who knows, maybe editing Poxial will find it.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
One thing that comes with mining mastery is the statue of the Dwarf King, a statue that will give me a choice between 2 different mining powers every day. Not a bad investment considering how often I'm either in the mines or in the skull caverns anyway. Today was another day spent in the volcano dungeon, and I think I was pretty unlucky not to even get one today. But I did finish off the magma sprite monster slayer goal, so at least it wasn't in vain. Turns out I wasn't satisfied with the lack of old purple teeth, because I went on somewhat of a dragon tooth tirade, because I just keep on going back each day hoping to get my hands on even just one to take home. And when I'd finish up in the volcano, I'd spend what time I had left farming dust sprites. To be fair, over the course of 3 days, I did get 3 dragon teeth. Not to mention my taro roots had all grown in that time, which I will use to purchase my 3 hats soon. And thanks to my surplus of iridium, I made myself an anvil. The anvil I used to re-roll a parrot egg trinket over and over until I got a level 4 parrot. Success. I finished off a fantastic day knocking off another monster slayer goal. Immunity to slimes is gonna be a game changer. It was on the next day I saw that Sharky had finally caught up to me in his own romantic conquests. I gave him some warm words of encouragement, but you know, if he got cold feet I wouldn't have been too upset. Time will tell with that. For now I headed back yet again for another rumble in the volcano jungle. When I left later that evening I relocated 2 more teeth back home, plus an ostrich egg I found thanks to a secret note was used to make another hat. What a way it was to start this morning with star drop number 4. A nice healthy breakfast to start the day. Being a Sunday did mean that day 70 started out in the desert trading staircases. My crystallariums had been working overtime, giving me 320 staircases. With these staircases I'd dive down the caverns until I came across a prehistoric level, and then I'd take care of all of the pepperexes. I accidentally ticked off the Bat Monster Slayer goal while down here, not that I'm complaining. I farmed a few more prehistoric levels with no goal completed just yet. I thought it might not happen today until one single pepperex on a random level was all I needed to finish it off. For completing such a daring task, I got the Knight's Helmet, which I will gladly add to our hat chest. After the amount of time and trouble it took just to grow 90 taro roots, I'm ecstatic to say that I finally purchased one of the island trader hats. And over at Key's Walnut Room I picked up Danger in the Deep again. No, not to mess with Sharky this time. Luckily I had some spare staircases to help me shimmy my way to the bottom. I needed the dangerous mines accessible for a multitude of reasons, one of which being the achievement, but for now it was nice to have that done and dusted. The 16th of fall is, of course, the Valley Fair. Sharky and I both needed to attend, and for the first time this whole competition, we worked together for once. We mixed and matched items from our stashes to have the best chance of winning. Why we needed to win was for the achievement we'd get for getting first place. And then it was time to grind for star tokens. I ended up losing most of mine to the spinning wheel. A little embarrassing to admit while your competition just watches on, judging you. But after a few more goes at the fishing game, I was able to purchase star drop number 5 and the fedora to add to our hat collection. Cooperation and all things buddy-buddy were thrown out the window by day 73. I had to watch on as Sharky took the next step with Emily. Glad to see he didn't get cold feet. I even complimented his outfit. On the agenda today was trading more taro roots for the second hat from the island trader. A dragon tooth run through the volcano dungeon, which unfortunately turned out 0 teeth. And when I returned to the valley, I went to the bottom of the mines and flicked the switch on the Shrine of Challenge, which would allow the mines to return to the dangerous variant. By doing this, I've now activated a strategy I've had in mind for a while now. Smelling like Monster Musk number 5, I plundered levels 40 to 50 in the dangerous mines. I can now farm dozens upon dozens of grubs, dust sprites, bats, and slimes at my own convenience. On top of that, the parrot will generate gold from these monsters slayed, and I mean a lot of gold. The dangerous mine enemies have chances to drop galaxy souls too, which I'll need 3 of. I was eager to return right away, but I couldn't forget about the third and final hat from the island trader. I just truly wouldn't forgive myself if I missed it, and I did purchase myself 1 galaxy soul for a cheeky head start. This is one strategy that I see Sharky was already ahead of me on, but I am the one farming countless amounts of monsters right now, so hey, I don't mind. And now that I had the burglar's ring, I think I'd be unstoppable. God, just look at me go. I actually couldn't get enough of it. But there's another reason I desired loads of gold. Because of that one stupid book that I could only obtain through RNG. You know the one, I'm sure. And essentially I wanted lots of money for bombs. I decided to switch things up the next day. My dangerous mine tirade had earned me another 2 galaxy souls, securing me the infinity sword when I infused all 3 into my sword up at the forge, and I too got the infinite power achievement. I did give Robin a birthday gift this morning to unlock the Cliques achievement. I may have given up on friendship points, but not achievements. And afterwards I took off to the Skull Caverns for the day to try and farm for Omni Geodes. Now that I had the burglar's ring, each ghost was guaranteed to drop 2 geodes. I got 36 Omni Geodes by the time I left that night. Believe it or not, I did the exact same thing again. My cavern dive this time was a lot more fortuitous and ghost slain. I walked away with another 47 Omni Geodes. You'd think with a higher amount of artifact troves at my disposal, Clint would just give the book to me, right? Wrong. Why would he? This guy hates me. And it's clear to see at this point. I'm aware I'm taking my frustrations on the RNG of this game on Clint. I just need a scapegoat, okay? The only positive thing to come out of this was a golden pumpkin that I can tailor into a hat. Actually, tailoring hats was still on my mind that afternoon because I commissioned a fish pond for the farm. I'll need caviar to tailor into a hat, so it's good to start preparing for that. I met Sharky that night to share a bit, for a bit of Junimo Kart. I may have him shaking in his boots a little bit after putting up a score of 71,000. Even I'm having a hard time trying to replicate a score that high. Did you assume I had enough crystallariums? There will never be enough. There will always be room for more. I took myself out to the dig site today because I felt like I'd been neglecting my panning roots. I wasn't having much luck, so I switched things up and I took a journey through the volcano. At least I can say I got 2 teeth because I can't say the same about any lucky rings. The grind for the treasure appraisal guide kicked back off on day 81. I purchased the desert totem recipe from the desert trader before heading off into the caverns. I kind of combined strategies here using both bombs and staircases to maximize Omni Geode potential. In fact, I did this for a few days. I was just hoping to have this damn book in my possession by the end of fall. However, I did pump the brakes on all of this by the end of day 83. It was the Spirit's Eve festival and Sharky and I had a maze to navigate through. I, being the pro gamer that I am, made it all the way to the end in no time at all. I even had to help Sharky find his way to the rewards chest. Now because we're in year 2, it doesn't give us a golden pumpkin. Instead, it gives us a prize ticket, which will become important later on. Before I get ahead of myself, day 84 marks the end of the full season already. I got myself the lucky charm from the truck driver to manifest some luck. Today was the day I would get that treasure appraisal guide. So many Omni Geodes, so many artifacts, so many chances. No, not that one. Damn it. No, come on. Not that one. Still no. Not that one. No, damn it. No, come on. No, not that one. Damn it. Just give it to me. I had to find some sort of win for myself, so I tailored 2 more hats into existence from that golden pumpkin and a jack-o'-lantern I picked up from last night's festival. Looks like I'm just gonna have to keep grinding for it throughout winter. I threw out all thoughts of that godforsaken book. I had to, or I might have thrown something. Instead, I began the change in seasons just like the ones before. Fishing. This did include the glacier fish, which does tick off all the legendary fish. Meaning worst case scenario is we tied that challenge, and that's fine by me. I also reeled in a sturgeon from the mountain lake, which went straight into the fish pond that Robin had built. Something that had totally slipped my mind was the raccoon quests. It had only just occurred to me that they offer both a power book and a hat. Luckily, I had everything needed to complete the first quest. Whether this was shared with Sharky or not, I had no idea at the time, but I needed that book if I wanted to compete. I even planted some powder melons in preparation for the next quest. Afterwards, I popped down to the Hat Mouse for the first time this whole year. I didn't think I'd be getting many more achievements, so I decided to purchase every single hat that I could. Back on the farm, I dropped them into my hat chest and it made a sizable difference, that's for sure. To round out a prosperous day, I pulled 1 more dragon tooth from the volcano dungeon before calling it a night. I followed up that day with another dragon tooth run. I wasn't getting anywhere near as many as I did when I first started, but a couple every now and again is way better than none at all. I hoped to follow that up with a lucky ring from the dig site, and finally my prayers to the panning gods were heard. 1 lucky ring found its way to me that night, and I'll be happy to add another one into our chests. I started day 88 over at Clint's, opening golden mystery boxes. The only valuable item I really cared about were lucky lunches, which I'll keep a hold of for future panning parties. But that one book just still haunted the back of my mind. I told myself I'd give up on finding it, but I just couldn't help myself. I needed to keep racking up the funds to buy more bombs. More bombs meant more Omni Geodes, and the more Omni Geodes I got meant more chances of getting the treasure appraisal guide. Quick intermission from grinding this one stupid book. I made another hat from the sweet gemberry I planted last season. Okay, where were we? Oh yeah, here we are. More monster slaying! I had to break from all things bombs, death and destruction the next day because it was the Festival of Ice. There was a hat up for grabs today just like the Egg Festival, and any advantage is worth fighting for. So I guess we both get the hat? Well, that's no fun. With money up the wazoo, I changed trajectory to the Skull Caverns to once again farm for Omni Geodes. 39 is the number of artifact troves I got from Omni Geodes. 0 is the number of treasure appraisal guides I got. Oh my god. I couldn't even do anything that night. Genuinely, I was speechless. Forgive me for saying this, but I did consider giving up on finding this book, because it was just so much work. I somewhat made up for this by finding 2 more dragon teeth the next day, and I tailored a hat with the caviar I made, but it just wasn't hitting the same. However, day 97 is a new day, a day to get ourselves a few wins to make up for the miserable events of the other day. Those wins came in the form of Squidfest. I purposefully waited to attend on the 13th, the second day of Squidfest. I did this because catching 10 squid throughout the day would land me not only the Art of Crabbing power book, but a funny looking squid hat. Don't I look equally dorky and adorable? Because it didn't take me long to fish up all 10 squid, I had some time left to finish off another raccoon quest. For doing so, I got the raccoon journal, which ironically, leaves me with one more power book to get. But I put that thought on the back burner for now. I dedicated the following day to panning at the dig site, trying to make up for the severe lack of lucky rings in my possession. I wasn't finished there either. Another good luck day kept me here for another day. A certain someone decided to come and ruin the fun by sharing in all of my panning spots. Shockingly, I pulled a lucky ring after he arrived. Is Sharky my good luck charm? I mean, I've caught most of my lucky rings while he's been here. Nah, surely not. Oh my good god, I got another one. He is my lucky charm. I followed this up with another solid run through the volcano on day 100. I collected up another 4 teeth to bring home with me later that afternoon. I waited around the pier that evening for the start of the night market. It was here that I bought the cone hat from the mysterious boat vendor, and down in the submarine I caught the final 3 fish that I would need for the fishing collection. The last one being the blobfish, I popped the Master Angler achievement. A little bonus was I got to sew the blobfish into a hat at Emily's sewing machine. You might want to wipe the machine down after that one. And I got to buy the eye patch from the hat mouse for popping the achievement. The ultimate prize being the 6th and probable final star drop to collect. There is one more, but for that we would need to finish the museum. And I don't think either of us could be bothered doing that. I then slayed a lot of monsters. Day 102, both Sharky and I reserved for more panning. We both had a terrible day with hardly any panning spots, but at least we did it together. The following day was the day I decided to try one last time. One final massive push for the treasure appraisal guide. Only being one book away from having them all was gnawing away at my brain. If Sharky had them all, then I'd already be down by 1 point. A day later, I swapped over to the Skull Caverns to put all 665 bombs where my mouth was. I noticed that Sharky was here too, and was also going for a Skull Cavern dive. It became apparent to me as I started blowing through each level that he was putting his deepest Skull Cavern dive on the board. My target to beat was level 334. My friends, I had 665 staircases, and I planned on using every single one of them. Oh, now that is a Skull Cavern dive if I've ever seen one. So the grind for Omni Geodes continued. The days left in the competition were dwindling. This was going to be my very last chance. Oh, holy shit. Oh my god, I did it. That's it. That's the thing. That's the book. Yes! After countless days grinding away for this outrageously elusive book, here it was, in all of its glory. The final power book. Oh, I just have no more words. Well, I've got a few left because there's only 2 more days left before a winner is crowned. I spent the penultimate day of competition purchasing the raccoon hat from the wife's shop and panning on Ginger Island. The final day I also spent doing the same. Lucky rings were the only challenge I felt like I didn't give enough time to. Maybe if I got the treasure appraisal guide earlier, then I may have had more time, but that is all behind me now. I have to trust that every minute spent strategizing and putting it to action was worth the amount of effort I gave it. It was now time to see who's taking away the crown of a year-long competition between 2 of Stardew Valley's biggest players.
We're here.
We did it.
Just like
we
that.
did it. A whole nother year.
Oh my goodness, I'm so nervous.
Me too.
Come down to this, all this hard work.
For the viewers at home, because Sharky and I have obviously discussed how the scoring is going to work, it is basically a best of 10. And how it's going to work is obviously for some of these challenges, there are going to be ties, there's going to be draws. If that happens, then we get 1 point each for them. There are some challenges that are obviously non-negotiable. Someone will win, and if that happens, then that person gets the point, the other person gets 0. And it's basically whoever gets the most points out of 10 for these challenges. Let's start with most books read. Did you have any strategy for the books?
Okay, well, yeah, books is just books, right? My aim was to get all of them. I wanted every single book in 1 year. I didn't really have a strat. I guess there's no really strat for them, right? You just get them as you go along.
Yeah.
I knew where to get them. I knew how to get them. It was just a case of doing it. Time, right? So there was no set strat. It was just a case of getting them all.
100%.
Trying to get them all.
Yeah, 100%. That was the exact same for me.
3, 2, 1. I got all of them. Every single book.
Ooh, nice. Well done. How many power books did Poxial get?
Did you
In
match?
3,
Did you match?
2, 1. I got all of them too.
Yay! Okay, 1 point each.
1 point each.
It's your turn to go with star drops now as well.
I will show you right now that I have 6 out of 7 star drops.
I can't see the screen, but yes, I have 6 as well. Because the last one is completing the museum, right? Which we've not done.
Which we haven't done.
That's another point each.
6 out of 6, yeah, that's another point each. Ooh, so we're 2 from 2.
We need to talk about the legendary next, which is me. So I obviously got them all. You probably noticed that throughout when we was playing, that I got all the legendaries. And I saw that you did too.
Yeah, same here. I mean, we kind of had to get it for the star drop anyway, so.
So that's another tie. So it's 3-3 right now, man. 3-3.
Wow, 3-3.
And you're talking about the next one.
Right, the hats.
Oh, this is a big one.
Strategy for the hats. Obviously, we had achievements to get. Achievement equals hats at the hat mouse. So I was keeping on top of as many achievements as I could throughout the playthrough. The other hats, I had a strategy that I got Crusader on my sword, and I took off to the Skull Caverns quite a lot to gather cloth from the mummies.
Oh, damn. Okay.
That strategy got me so much cloth. It got me way more cloth than I needed, which was fantastic.
Mine was pretty similar, to be honest. It's so interesting, right? Because I was thinking, what is Pox doing with the hats, like tailoring-wise? Because you've not got sheep, you've not got rabbits. And I completely forgot about the Crusader and mummies, so that is so interesting hearing that. So my technique was rabbits. But this was for something else that I'm going to talk about after, but the main thing was for the wool and the cloth, and I was also tailoring, keeping all the items I needed. Basically the same thing other than, I used rabbits instead of the mummies.
Chest
Okay.
number 1.
Yes.
I completely filled up.
Okay. This is a deal breaker. So as soon as I see this, I'll know. Oh, God. Oh, God. Right, ready? 3, 2, 1. Okay. Okay.
So I had 7 in there. So my total was 77 hats.
So, open my first chest.
Chest number 1.
Make sure you're happy with it.
Full to the brim.
When you open this, you... go on.
All right, here
Go
we go.
on, see it.
3, 2, 1.
You won by 1 hat, I think. You won by 1 hat, Pox.
No.
I think it was 1.
Hat. 1,
can't
2,
believe
3,
it.
4, 5. Oh no, you had 5, so it was by 2.
Oh, no.
Oh, by 2.
So, GG, you took a point. So, right now, is that 4-3?
I think so.
You've got 4 points, I've got 3. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, Village Hearts, get your calculator out, lads.
4 for Sam.
4.
So, got 186 hearts.
Yes, I got that too. 186 is your final heart number. 4 for Penny.
Penny. 80, dead on.
I got 80 as well.
We forgot to talk about strats for this.
Oh yeah, let's talk about strats. But, accidentally left the call instead of stopped sharing my screen. I'm so mad that I lost that I quit, apparently.
Can you remember when I said I got rabbits?
Rabbit feet.
Rabbit foot.
Oh,
Iridium
rabbit's
quality.
feet.
Iridium equality.
Yeah.
Most universal loved gift bar penny.
Yeah.
Mate, I was getting so much of them towards the end. I was just spamming any villager I saw with a rabbit's foot iridium quality.
Yeah. Really good. Really good. 4-4 so far, and we're on to Skull Cavern Deepest Dive.
Well, this is very easy to see, and we already know who's won this one. I've probably talked about this in the editing because I could not believe it.
Yeah, I will put it on my screen now. I got 663. I did it the day after You did your one.
Day after. Couldn't believe it. You was waiting for me to do that as well.
Genuinely, I actually wasn't. That was just funny timing.
The next one we're talking over is me. Oh God, it's this one, is it? Don't get me started. This one, I hate this game so much. Endless mode. You see number 1 is Poxial there with a 71,000, by the way. And I'm only just on there with number 4. So 43,000 was my best. So you take that one down. So this is, to view this, you click on here, and if you go to the second page, there should be something that says monsters slain. So that's all the monsters in Skull Cavern and Mines together combined. How many you've slayed. Right, okay, second page. So my number is...
Here we go.
4,412.
Ooh, that's high. That's really high. Oh my god. Time to see the monsters slayed in 3, 2, 1.
Oh my goodness. You doubled it.
Oh my god. 8,608. Alright, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Oh my god. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Ready?
Here we go.
Just give me a spanking while you're at it. Oh!
You won.
Let's go!
You won that one. You won that one.
I beat you at your own game, Pox. I'll take it. Sharky's a true winner. Panning with Sharky right now. 3.
Here we go.
2, 1. Okay. 53 to beat.
Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Ooh, 41.
GG. You got it, my friend.
Oh my god. I can't believe I won. I am gobsmacked I won that.
You are very tough to beat, Pox. You're very tough to beat, my friend.
To be fair, you put in a good effort there.
I gave it my all. I really did try this time round. Well, I'm not saying I didn't before, but it's well deserved. You are so hard to beat, so I knew it was going to be a run for my money.
I can't believe the series is ending. It
I know.
felt like we've been doing it forever, and I'm sad it's coming to an end now. I better take my trophy. Woohoo!
Oh, wow, right, okay.
Yeah.
Let me, it's fireworks. Let me run some of these for
yeah.
you. Look at this.
Look, I'll place them too.
Yes. GG. Oh, celebrations.
Woohoo!
Hey.
There it is.
There we go. It's forever, and that shows that Pox won. Well, that is it, guys. The end of what feels like a forever thing. Like, it's actually quite sad and strange to say that it's the end, but that is it. 3 series, the trilogy of Sharky and Pox, and the crown and the trophy goes to you, Pox.
The end of an era.
Yeah, literally, right? We started this years ago, and here we are today.
So there you have it. The blood, sweat and tears were all worth it in the end, as I was crowned the title of the ultimate, supreme, totally the best Stardew Valley player of all time. I have to give props to Sharky and thank him for even challenging me to this in the first place. He is a fantastic YouTuber and an even more fantastic person. Like I said, I truly had a blast making these videos with him, and it actually sucks that this does have to come to an end. I will link his channel and the link to his POVs of the entire year in the description if you would like to go show him some love or watch the year all over again from his perspective. And with that being said, there's not much else to say except you're all wonderful people, so have a wonderful day, and thank you again to War Thunder for sponsoring this video. Don't forget to play it for free on PC, PlayStation or Xbox by using my link in the pinned comment or the video description. Remember, new and returning players that haven't played in 6 months will also receive a massive bonus pack across all platforms, including multiple premium vehicles and other goodies. It's available for a limited time only, so make sure not to miss out. Oh, and one last thing, thanks for watching.